Oops. Fuck. Hey guys. Pop out the chat. Boom shakalaka. I'm getting pretty good with this. Joel Rants. What's poppin', guys? Probably turn this music down just a tad. Here we go. That seems about fair there. Let me know if you want it up or down. I think I've kind of found a settled spot for where my voice will always be. Be back in a little bit. Nice, no worries. No worries. Thank you. Do I play Roblox? I watched my buddy's kid play it, and I was, I always, when I watch younger kids play games, I'm always like, damn, these look fucking cool. Like if I was, 8 years old or however old he was when he was playing, I was like, I know I'd be playing that shit all day, every day. Because it was cool because I had a bunch of like mods for it, even though it was on console, or just like a bunch of like custom stuff. And I was like, even if it wasn't like high quality, high octane gameplay, like I could see myself just kind of getting lost in that forever. So I definitely have seen the game, and I know the term oof originates from that. But outside of that, I don't have much experience with the old Roblox there, you know what I mean? What's my favorite color? I'd probably say some type of like bluish green, or primarily green. But if my room was painted green, it wouldn't be terrible, but I don't think I would like it. I kind of like right now my room, the walls are sort of a beige white. And yeah, I'm definitely earlier than normal today. I just kind of had a vibe, that maybe I should just go a little bit earlier today, you know what I mean? Coping. I'm coping. I'm Copenhagen. That's how well I'm coping. Pretty much the same as everybody else. Whatever frustrations you have, I have. Blah, 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 blah. It's not to dismiss quarantine stuff. We just talk about it every time, and I'm like sick of talking about it. Like, just ready for some results. Ready for some change. Ready to just live my life. I'm about to I don't even know. I was like hitting my buddy up because I know he's got like a home gym in his house that he never uses. And I'm like borderline about to like buy that shit off of him, to be honest, because not being able to lift weights and shit, like results, yeah. I'm ready to know if I have COVID or not. My friend had it. I think I told you guys this last time, but my buddy had it, and he's doing well, was essentially just kind of like he works in the hospital setting and had contracted it, I guess, through patient care or something of that nature, and basically just said that he felt like he had a cold, for a period of time, and then he got tested and tested positive for it. So, and he says his blood is the cure now because he's got O positive COVID antibody blood, so if anybody needs his blood, be sure to hit him up, because he will just suck him dry, because he'll cure you in a second. When's the next podcast? That's Monday. So for those who don't know or haven't really seen the pattern there, I usually do podcasts every 2 weeks on Spotify and iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you get podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But I usually will promote it on my YouTube channel once a month, just so that it's not like I don't really inundate you with too many like repeat stories, because a lot of the podcast videos, they are longer, which I can tell people definitely like, and it's definitely preferred in the YouTube algorithm. But it is something I just do like once a month on YouTube, but every 2 weeks on Spotify and that. Sarah, yeah, the what's it called? The 10 2-sentence horror stories. There's a sequel to that video if you haven't seen it, and there may even be more down the pipeline, at least stuff within that universe. So keep it, if you're a big fan of those, keep an eye out. I've got a few animations on the channel. I wish I could do more, to be honest, but you fall asleep to them every night. Nice. How long am I streaming for? So I've got 7 stories to bang through here, banging heads, and I will definitely make my way through that. And then once we get done with those, the stream usually comes to an end. Hey, listen, Takashi with the 21 Canadian maple syrup dollar says, "Daddy, let's read." Ah! Kashi, thank you so much. It's a big dono coming out the gate there for the first one of the night. Thank you so much, Kashi. Kashi, also, I don't know if I asked you this before, but how or who is the person in your profile picture? Is that a K-pop member? Or how do you pronounce it? A K-pop? A K-pop member? Do you kids listen to K-pop? Some of my favorite music originates from Korea. It's called K-pop music. It really just K-pops in your ears. But thank you, Kashi. Yeah, streams depend heavily upon how, if I get caught up in any rants. I tend to get a little bit more loosey-goosey with my rants as the stream goes on too. So, you know, this operates a little bit like a Q&A as well, if you guys are unfamiliar. So feel free to ask me whatever you want while I do recordings and kind of spitball ideas around. I'm always open to that. Sarah Carroll with the 4 buckaroonies, handing me a nice cup of, it could be blood, it could be coffee. I'm gonna assume it's blood. Thank you, Sarah. And Zoe Budzul with the 1 Australiano. Thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, Kashi, I was gonna ask if we had any mods in here quite yet, but we got Kashi. But yeah, we're just chilling. That's already 10 minutes flown by like nothing, you know? Lexi says, I don't judge the music you all like. Thank you. I like the chill hop stuff, you know? Just kind of lets you drift off a little bit. Sometimes getting away from lyrics, especially like if I'm talking, it's kind of like what, you know, what I'm, my voice is kind of like the lyrics. Maya B with the 15 buckaroonie says, hey, what's up? Somehow I knew we were going to be streaming today, and I didn't see any notification or post of yours indicating this. Anyways, hope you're well, and so happy to join another stream. Thank you, Maya. It's good to have you back. Thank you for the 15. Very generous of you. And yeah, we are on a stream intuition right now, connected through the vibes, because sometimes YouTube isn't always the best at notifying people. But to get them to notify more people, be sure to click that like button if you haven't already. It's just a little bit of a click, a little bit of a clickety-clack, and then click the share button. If I don't know if you can send that out to Twitter, which reminds me, I always forget to send it out to good old Twatterville. It shares on Discord too, like people can get notifications on Discord, so go join my Discord if you haven't already. That's everything you could possibly want's linked down below. But I can't, the only unfortunate part is on Instagram, I can leave like a story that says like when we're gonna go live, but it never, I'm waiting to get to that 10K followers so I can link people to the streams a little bit easier. Billy Amber, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Yeah, I haven't seen Billy in forever. I don't know what she's doing. I think she was sad once her team lost the Super Bowl and she was outie 5,000. Teal, you get it through the Discord? Nice. What's my favorite kind of horror story? Well, my favorite horror story, oh man, it's hard to say, but I definitely enjoy the paranormal stuff. I think going forward, though, paranormal stories may not be as prevalent of a thing on the channel as far as like having their own video, unless it's something like hyper specific, like a hyper specific topic. You feels me? Hey, there's Swamp Dweller. What's up, Swampy? You old swampy boy. Get out of his swamp. Shrek is here. But yeah, like which is perfect timing because I was talking about paranormal stuff and I was gonna say like I was thinking of you earlier because I was like, you need to turn me on to where I can get some of those skinwalker stuff because people have been asking a lot about that, and I definitely could see myself doing a nice long skinwalker video here in the future. But as far as the really like overt paranormal videos, those don't do quite as well, and maybe you can corroborate this, Swamp Dweller. Like when a video doesn't do very well or doesn't get like that velocity, I guess you could say that view velocity right out the gate, YouTube isn't as inclined to share that video out with new people, and then it's less inclined to share your next video, you know what I mean? So it's always like momentum based, which really blows, you know what I mean? So but at the same time, I'm trying to get a vibe for what the majority of my audience likes, and if only like you know, less than half the views that I would normally get on a paranormal, it's just like it's hard to see that as a motivation to do it. But I obviously will continue including paranormal stories in the subscriber stories, because I still want to include all of your stories in the subscriber stories. So you might be more inclined to hear some of those types of stories in those videos more often, or maybe not necessarily more often, but just as a place to go. But you know, I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there. I'm always trying to like figure out how to make the channel grow, because it's not that it's stagnant, you know what I mean, but it's just it's not moving at infinity speed. Infinity speed. Abro Ratana with the 2 says, hi, I'm a big fan. I love listening to your videos. Thank you, Abro. Or is it Abro? I'm not quite sure. And Evil Adam with the 2 says, worst stories to read. I don't know. I usually kind of like get really annoyed with the stories that like where they just kind of like it's kind of like a girl or a guy that are just like overly paranoid about everything, and then the story kind of ends in like sort of a blue ball fashion where like nothing really exciting happens. Obviously it's a good thing that nothing bad happened to that person, but at the same time it's like it feels more just like I get annoyed with the ones where like he creepily stared at me and then did nothing about it, you know, which is obviously unsettling to say the least, but it's not, I don't really think, worth reading sometimes. Swampy says, gonna take Let's Read to Shrekland when this Rona leaves. Yeah, I can't wait to get down to Shrekland. Hopefully they open that up soon. Hopefully the Rona passes by us like the winter snow just melts. Maybe the Rona will just melt away. Maya says, I have a friend that supposedly has had a shitload of paranormal experiences. Nice. tell them to write some up if they feel so inclined. They can even include them all like as one big culmination of stories. Yeah, Swamp says, sadly, YouTube punishes you for a lot of lame things. Nah, I feel that. It sucks. It's weird, though, because, Swamp, what if you're still in the chat, or really everybody I'm asking this question to, like, what would you guys think if I started a channel where I take, like, some of the best stories from my videos and then put them into... like make them individual videos themselves, so they'll be like 5 to 8 minutes long or 10-minute long videos, but I could like basically post like every day on that channel. And I'm curious, like just as sort of an experiment to see how that video would do, you know what I mean? So I might try and get that. I don't even know what you would call it. If I would call it like Let's Read Clips, you know, because there's like a Joe Rogan Clips channel where he does clips of some of the stuff, but I feel like, I don't know, I think the titles of the stories would be a lot more eye-catching, you know what I mean, because they wouldn't be, the titles wouldn't be as long as some of my titles are, you know what I mean, so, it is hard to say, Papa Pulp with the 10 says, Love You and Darkness Prevails are my two favorite. Thank you so much, Papa, for the 10. Papa bless. I have not heard the name Darkness Prevails in quite a while. I hope he's doing well. I have not talked to him or seen him or heard from him in a moon, in many moons, 1 to 2 moons, and yeah, he's a really good narrator as well. Karen Hare with a 5 says, I have PTSD and it's hard for me to sleep. Your stories definitely help. Thank you, Karen. I'm sorry to hear that in relation to the PTSD, but I'm glad that my stories can help you get some sleep. Seems like a lot of people use these for sleep, which to me is an honor to be a part of, because sleep is just so important, and I definitely use a lot of different things to find my way to dreamland, and I consider them to be highly important. And Sarah Carroll with 2 says, I love your videos. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Dolly Reynolds Dolce and Cheyenne Dory Bob, guys, welcome to the chat. I'm seeing a lot of members in here, which is exciting. Love and devotion. Love and devotion. It's crazy. Some of those like really big streamers, you know, like I watch this one streamer just from time to time because I think his personality is funny. Yeah, Joel talks himself to sleep, just like muttering myself, blah, 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 blah. And then she looked at me creepily. Arya Nozomi with the 10 Canadian Maple Syrup del Hair says, nothing to say, but good day, evening to everyone. Thank you, Arya. Welcome. We are at about 300 people right now, which is awesome. So happy you guys could be here. Got 7 stories, true scary stories tonight from Le Reddit. Evil Adam with the 2 says, you could give your thoughts after some stories. Oh, like for the actual, like short little clips and stuff like that. Yeah, that would be interesting, you know? It'd be kind of like more podcasty in fashion. Swamp Dweller with a 5, my man, says the president told me my job was essential. Shrek memes are vital to the economy. Spread the word. You heard that, guys. If you see a Shrek meme, we have to get it out to the people. Don't let it be repressed. Shrek will live on. Shrek is the cure. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Am I a fan of Nexpo? I definitely am. Nexpo is Nexpo is one of those guys I've thought about many a times when I look at like successful YouTube channels within this sort of subgenre, this creepy realm of YouTube, and thought like that's the guy who he's got something going on there, and I definitely highly respect and enjoy all of his videos that he puts out. Harley Quinzel with the 20 buckaroonies Says, love your content. Thank you, Harley. Thank you for the 20. Holy heckity heck. 306 peeps, but only 104 likes. I know, those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up. Well, guys, we are going to, it's read time. That was a quick 20 minutes that passed by. I don't know if you guys use the program Flux. This is not sponsored, by the way. But Flux turns your screen kind of like orange, so you can stare at your screen for long periods of time. And you can have it on any time of the day, anywhere, anytime. And I definitely do that since I don't know if Swamp Dweller does that or not when he's reading, but it definitely keeps me from acquiring glaucoma too early in my life. But I'm going to switch over to the good man, as you guys all know, Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. Some of my favorite songs of his are the dinosaur-related ones because they just sort of have a sense of mystery to them. I wonder if I can find them here. There it is. Switch up the atmosphere quite a bit here. If it gets too loud, I shall adjust, but and then we're going to switch over to the reading screen. And just a reminder to everybody, if you have a story that you want to... That's how my roommate just fell over there. It's kind of funny. If you have a story that you would like to have narrated, submit it to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. And that's my official subreddit where you can send in your story. And just be sure the grammar's good and the frickin', you label it paranormal or true scary story. And if you don't have a Reddit account, it's real easy. You don't even need, I don't even think you need to verify your email. That's why so many people just, create throwaway accounts. And say you've only had one story, but you're kind of trying to stay anonymous. You can create a throwaway account that doesn't give away your information, or you can use it to continue to explore the endless reaches of the nether realm that we call Reddit. But be prepared. You will not come back the same. I've seen it destroy many a strong-willed man. Okay, cheese hog. What's a cheese hog? Alec, what up, dog? You and the party people are ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. You guys are just partying nonstop. Never eat yellow snow. Jensen, what up, dog? Says my Reddit name is just my social security number, so no one knows my real name. Nah, that's smart. That's thinking. It's thinking like a mischievous dog. I don't know if you guys have seen that or heard that video. Holy shit, it's so funny.
12, mischievous dog. Dogs can be quite mischievous. This is just one example.
Oh my god. Mischievous. It's like when people subscribe, we got full-grown pizzas, and I feel like maybe the next level should be a mischievous dog. Dude, Chills is a living legend, and the reason I even knew that was a thing was because I heard it on an iDubbbz video. So Chills has made it into an iDubbbz video, which I gotta applaud the man for that. That's next level. My thoughts on memes. Oh, well, funny you ask, because I run a meme page myself. We're a growing brand, also known as @HornyComputer. So if you guys want to, head over there. I was actually going to post the Chills video onto that meme page because it's just so funny. Orange Potato says, Let's Read, do you know Corpse Husband, Lazy Masquerader, B Busta? I do. All very good men. All very good men. Awesome fellas. Mischievous. I'm from the legendary land of Mischievous. Okay, we are going to kick this story off here. And this one actually has like close to 5,400 upvotes, which, that's a lot. Holy heckity hoo. Holy heckity doo-dah, my friends. A few years ago, I was renting a house in Northern California. The neighborhood was just outside the suburbs. It seemed like the perfect balance of having space and having nice neighbors close enough not to feel isolated. The area had no street lights, so it was very dark at night, especially if there were clouds blocking the moonlight. It didn't bother me, though. It made my It made my big fouse feel funny. It made my little house feel even more quaint on dark nights. I got home from work one day in midwinter. It was a cloudy night, so pulling up to my house, I saw only what my headlights and front porch light illuminated. When I got out of my car, I caught a whiff of cigarette smoke. That was odd, as I had never smelled that before around the house. I didn't see anyone nearby, so I ignored it and went inside. I had just got off a shift with a few hours of overtime, so I felt pretty tired. Even though it wasn't even 7 yet, I decided to take a shower and call it a night. I woke up sometime later, sure that I had heard a noise inside my house. I wasn't worried right away because my friend would sometimes stop by to use my shower after work on his way to his night classes. I even gave him a spare key so he could stop by even if I wasn't home. He would always text me to let me know beforehand, though, and I hadn't heard my phone go off. I reached over to my bedside table and picked up my cell phone to see if my friend had sent me a text. The bright light from my phone's screen and number pad blinded. Oops. I should probably adjust the hey listen thing, or maybe I'm just getting used to it, but I should probably turn it down mildly because for some reason it always actually catches me off guard. Garrett Wiseman with a 5 says, keep it up. Thank you, Garrett. Welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. And hello, Gothic Rose. What's poppin'? Hey, listen. The bright light from my phone's screen and number pad blinded me. These were the days before phones had a light sensor that would dim the screen in the dark, and this particular phone was so bright I could use it as a flashlight. Through squinted eyes, I could make out that it was 9-something, but I couldn't tell if I had an unread text or not. I set my phone aside and called out my friend's name. There were a couple of seconds of silence before I heard loud footfalls as someone started running through the bottom floor of my house. I leapt out of bed and ran to the closet. They were already up the stairs by the time I had opened the door and stepped inside. That house had 3 rooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms on either side of the hallway, the one I was in and a spare, and a bathroom at the end. The bedroom doors were both closed, but the bathroom door was cracked open. I heard whoever was in my house thunder down the hallway past my door and into the bathroom. Thank God he did. That gave me enough time to open the attic access in the ceiling of my closet and hoist myself up. I had just started to lift myself up when the person ran back out of the bathroom. My feet were barely inside of the attic when my bedroom door burst open. I heard footsteps run into my room and stop. When they didn't see me in that room, they ran back to the hallway and into the other room, which just had boxes stacked in a corner, some weights, and a table where I painted my miniature models. I guess they decided that if someone was hiding, it would be in the bedroom because they charged back into my room and turned on the light. A moment later, the closet door was ripped open. I was crouched in my attic just a foot or so away from the access, so I could try to stop them if they started to climb up. From my vantage point, all I could see was from about their knee down. They were wearing dirty blue jeans with frayed cuffs and worn work boots. After a few seconds of looking in the closet, they stepped away and heard a loud crash come from my... Whoops. I heard one. Wait, or did I? Yes. Did I hear one? You want to be a mischievous dog in Discord? Yeah, that would be a good role to give people. It's so funny because he fully accepts the meme too, and he had like a really funny like TikTok where it's like, apparently people thought that I was saying this wrong. Scott Jones with the 10. Thank you, Scotty. Scotty boy. My friend. Sounds like an anime plot. Wait, what this or the mischievous dog? My voice is so scary. Or is Chill's voice scary? Hey, Jacqueline Vrooman, welcome, welcome. Oi, oi. After a few seconds of looking in the closet, they stepped away and I heard a loud crash come from my room, followed by a scream of frustration and anger. That scream was the most unnerving part of the incident for me. It reminded me far too much of my stepfather, who would scream in a similar way when he lost his temper. He would eventually be put in a mental hospital for several mental disorders that resulted in erratic and violent tendencies. The man in my house ran back down the stairs. I heard crashes and clatters as things were thrown around and furniture was knocked over. I stayed crouched in the attic. I had left my phone. Whoopsies. Cheese Dog insults Joel and wants to be a mod. Say what? Cheese Dog, what did you say? Did you hurt my feelings? Did you hurt my feelings without me even realizing it, Cheese Dog? Cheese Dog! Cheese Dog, where are you? I had left my cell phone when I ran for the closet, and I wasn't certain I could climb down without hearing him. Oh fuck, I keep doing a dyslexic fuck up there, sorry guys. I left my cell phone when I ran for the closet, and I wasn't certain I could climb down without him hearing. After some time, the noises stopped. I started counting slowly. When I reached 1,000, I decided it was safe enough to climb down and call the police. The first thing I noticed when I exited the closet was the intruder had flipped my bed over, I assume in an attempt to find me. That was the loud noise I had heard after he stepped away from the closet. I couldn't find my cell phone, so I went to the landline by the bed and called the police. I waited in my room until I heard them call out from downstairs. The first floor was a mess, but I'd expected that. Chairs had been knocked over, the sofa had been flipped. All the books and pictures and knickknacks I had on my shelves were strewn across the floor. The cupboards in the kitchen had been opened and all the boxed and canned foods had been thrown to the ground. As far as I could tell, the only thing missing was a single knife out of the wooden block in my kitchen. The police checked the house from top to bottom. They found that the side door had been forced open by something like a crowbar. They also found a few cigarette butts along my fence line, along with some foil and an empty pen tube which the police said people used to smoke meth, so they think he had been watching my house for a while. I realized that he must have been out there smoking a cigarette when I got home. They collected up the evidence and told me I should stay with family or friends that night and get that door fixed as soon as possible. I opted just to not sleep. I moved a shelf over to block the broken door and spent the next couple of hours cleaning things up. Cheese Dog! President Cheese Dog reporting in, sir. President Cheese Dog, we need a rundown on the aliens from the moon. Have they found the cheese? Is the moon made of cheese? Smoking math. You guys ever smoke math? Did you ever smoke long division? My voice is at the appropriate temperature, thank you. I would often go to the window with a flashlight and shine it along the fence line where the police found the cigarette butts and foil, but I didn't see anything. The next day I called to have the door fixed and motion lights installed at the back and sides of my house. I ran a phone cable up into the attic and added a landline. I never wanted to be stuck up there without a phone again. Nothing else happened at that house, though. I lived there another 3 years without incident. One more precaution I took was practicing getting out of my bed, going to my closet and climbing into the attic as quickly and quietly as possible. I even kept at it when I moved, except now I go to a crawl space at the back of the closet instead of the attic. I try not to think about what would have happened if I had been a bit slower getting to the attic, or if he hadn't gone into the bathroom at the end of the hall first. I just look to my right and like Pradeep is just like laid out in a sprawl on the floor. I think it's actually kind of getting kind of hot, and the floor is probably a little bit cooler. The floor is cool, and so is Pradeep. You want me to do a collab with Cheese Dog? Cheese Dog, what's our collab gonna be about, dude? Is it gonna be like a mukbang, Cheese Dog mukbang? Cheese fries and Scott, you've been enjoying my stories for a while. Hate listening for free. Hey, no, I appreciate that. Honestly, it's very kind of you. You keep the Cheese Dogs. You guys are all fun. This is all funding me and Cheese Dogs world record cheese dog competition. I think we're gonna get Matt Stoney involved, and it's gonna get real. Joel is Pradeep, and Pradeep is Joel. We are one. We have become one. When he licks his butthole, I lick my butthole. When he pisses in a box, I piss in a box. When I pay taxes, he takes a shit in a box. So maybe we're not completely connected, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's read what's my favorite channel. You know, I really enjoy, like, it's sort of like a escape for me. I really like Red Letter Media as sort of like a non, you know, like just sort of like a channel that's normal. It's like not controversial or anything like that. It's just an enjoyable YouTube channel that reviews movies. And if I've just seen the movie, you know, if I've just seen the movie like recently, I love just kind of like hearing their inputs on it, because I feel like I find myself agreeing with them on a lot of different points. And they've actually recommended me some movies that I have also enjoyed, such as this one movie called The Witch, spelled with 2 V's. Cheesy Reads Dog. Cheese Dog, you want some free merch? I wish I could offer you free merch. I wish I could give away merch, to be honest, but my merch is done through Spreadshirt. Cream or no? Well, yeah. If you want merch, go to shop.spreadshirt.com/let's read. It's also linked down below. I think I'm gonna do a Let's Read merch post here on Instagram probably after this, just to show some love, because I've been seeing a lot of like merch pop up, but unfortunately, because it's not, you know, I don't own the company or anything like that, it's I can't really give away merch, you know what I mean? I guess I could, in sort of like by purchasing it and sending it to your address, but it would just be like kind of a sort of an inconvenient process, you know what I mean? Do I smoke weed? I don't. I ate an edible on 420 and that was fun, but I'm just like not really like a regular towards any sort of intoxicant. Not that I have a problem with people that do. I just I prefer to have my mind sharp at all times, you know, so in case, you know, a Genji sneaks up on me, I could freaking flick shot his ass right in the face. What I think of Midsummer? I thought Midsummer was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was a really, really good movie. I thought the beginning of it had a really strong, like, I love the beginnings of horror movies. And the reason being is because I love the sort of sense of ominous nature to the majority of it. You know what I mean? And usually there's a lot of strong usage of symbolism. There's a lot of nuance, I suppose you could say, with how the horror is going to present itself, which I really appreciate in horror movies, is sort of like things not being directly overt. And the thing with Midsummer, and I'm gonna spoil it. Spoiler alert. Close your ears if you haven't seen the movie. For I don't even know. Close your ears for 160 seconds. Just count that down. But basically, the part where they were building up to it, and they go to the cliffside, and they're like, "Well, what the fuck's these old people doing, guys? What's going on here?" And, you know, the old people jump, you know, they're 72 years old, and it's the festival of sacrifice or whatever the fuck. And, like, they jump off the cliff, and the woman, like, you know, explodes into bits. and then the old man like cracks his leg, and then and then someone in the cult is just like, thankfully I've got this big mallet, you know, and just smushes his head like Gallagher in a fucking watermelon, you know what I mean? And oh, Rose, don't post your phone number. That's not a good thing to do. It will can't be doxing anybody. And yeah, I don't, you know, at that point, I would get the fuck out of there. Does that not seem logical in like human brain function? I would say 99.9% of the population. You know, I would go as far as to say as I would go as far as to say as 100% of the population. Literally, anybody that's Cheese Dog. Me and Mr. Nightmare did not have a fight. Mr. Nightmare doesn't really talk to anybody, so it would be impossible to have a fight. It's an awkward question. Also, appreciate it if you don't spam things, my friend. But it just made no sense. It made no sense to me. They jumped off the cliff, turned into a bunch of guts, and at that point I'd be like, okay, fucking peace. I'm walking, you know, literally, but I don't care if I have to wait. I'm not gonna sit here like say I had a best friend in college who brought me out to see his Swedish family and be introduced to all the the new culture. It's all culture. It's beautiful. You know, it's a different culture here. We just jump off cliffs and shit. You know, like, no. You get the fuck out of there. You leave. There's no reasoning beyond that. There's literally no reasoning beyond that insanity. Hey, Faye, thank you for the 2. Thank you. There's literally zero explanation to why any of those kids would stick around, even if they felt like, because there was no like real threat to them either. I feel like maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but there was no like real threat. Like, you're not going. You know, they didn't take like spears out of nowhere and put it to their throats and say like, where do you think you're going, boy? You know, it was just like, I don't even know, dude. It was just out of nowhere, 0 to 100, and their reasoning for sticking around. Like, some of them wanted to like study the culture. Hey, let me study this like weird backwards barbaric culture in the woods, which, sure, you know, maybe that sounds interesting. I guess if you're constantly fucking high, you know what I mean? Like, bro, stop using ad blocker. You're scaring all the local MILFs in your area. I'm sorry, dude. I don't mean to spook them. But yeah, anyways, it's just it like at that point the movie was continuing to be like a good movie. I thought a lot of the scenes were interesting and, you know, pretty whacked out and stuff like that. But at that point it kind of lost me. You know what I mean? I was just like, there's a sort of like you know, an ability as a viewer to suspend your disbelief, you know what I mean, to keep you enthralled. But the whole time I'm just like, what are these guys doing? And then, of course, every one of them started to get, you know, picked off one by one, and with no, you know, no consideration for whether or not it was insane or ridiculous or strange. And I don't know. It was essentially was like the 90s movie equivalent of like somebody being chased by, well, first off, everybody splitting up and then getting killed by Jason. But then, you know, of course, the trope of the girl running through the woods and tripping on the branch. I would consider that more believable to me than the fact that those kids stuck around that cult cliff. Just made zero sense. Anyways, sorry about that. Crystal with the 25, a Rooney. What's up, Crystal? Welcome back. Says, hello, what story are you on? So that was, did we even finish story 1? Oh, I think I'm almost, wait, I haven't gone into the bathroom at the end of the, okay, yeah, so we finished story 1, so there's 7 stories, and we are scootaloo right along. Brad, what's up, Brad, with the 10? Welcome back, Brad. Thank you. You want me to collab with Mr. Nightmare and Cheese Dog in the same video? Honestly, I'll collab if Cheese Dog can get a hold of Mr. Nightmare. If Cheese Dog can set that up, you guarantee it that I'm going to be working with Mr. Cheese Dog and Mr. Nightmare Dog. What is your favorite food to eat on a hot summer's day with cool breeze and wind blowing over the poolside estate? Probably ass. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. That's a good question. The cool breeze and the summer heat. Probably a little bit of ice cream, maybe on a cone. Have a bit of a lick. Husky Wolf, thank you. I'm glad I can help you. Heather's asking if I do martial arts. Throughout my days as a human male, I have done a few various martial arts class. Like back in college, I did jiu-jitsu for a little bit. It was a really interesting mixture in college. It was like jiu-jitsu / powerlifting. It was really freaking weird. But like my so it was actually my anatomy and physiology professor was my coach, because it was kind of like a small college, and like he actually held the world record. He held the world record for the plate press, which I believe it's called a plate press, but essentially what would happen was he would hold 100-pound plate, okay? So not the 45-pound plates that you might be conventionally used to, but a 100-pound one. And basically he would pull it into his chest, and he would extend it out to full, length in front of him at a horizontal angle. Another human being would take that plate, pull it to his chest, and bring it back to him. And then he would quickly do that process. Apparently he had done it, set a world record for doing it like 10,000 times plus, or some insane number. I can get the specifics on it like later. But dude, it was weird, because he had said like while he did the world record, he went through 15 different men, you know what I mean, who essentially would hand him the plate, and then he would take it back, and because they were all like tired out and stuff. Well, yeah, plate. So like if you're into powerlifting and that kind of thing, conventionally like normal plates are 45 pounds. So it's like, if you have the bar is 45 pounds usually, going on pounds, and then the plates are 45 pounds. So if you see someone lifting with a plate, usually they're doing 135 pounds on like a bench press. You know what I mean? That's the most common thing you could see. But he was doing it with a 100-pound plate, so double that plus, and he did it like 10,000 times plus. They literally, I remember him telling us that like, and the world record's kind of like unconventional and strange, but like I remember looking it up, and they were saying that he like literally had like superhuman strength. That's how freaking like intense. And this guy was smart as hell. He was a doctor. He was also working on his law degree, and he was a professor, probably the most professional, intelligent professor I'd ever had. Like, I was learning in his class, but I also felt as if though that he was a no bullshit kind of guy, military guy. He was hardcore, man. Like, his level of like, I don't even know at that point. Like, how do you just like turn your mind off, your body off, and just continue to do that? You know what I mean? Joshua with the tens is #1 fan. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you. And Gothic with the 5 Canadian maple syrup doll hair says, thanks for starting earlier so I can chill with you all for a bit before this baby makes me pass out. Yeah, Gothic, are you still pregnant, or have you had the baby? I assume you've had the baby, because you were, I think, pretty close the last time we talked. Cheese Dog says, what's your favorite flavor of boiled fish coated in lemon sauce and on a helicopter with a side of rat? I guess cod, like a flaky white cod. Joel, you have work tomorrow too. I know, I'm going to be probably late, so tell the boss. Don't wait up. Why so reluctant with Mr. Nightmare? I don't know what you mean. I would collab with him in an instant. I think basically the reason I said if Cheese Dog could get his attention is because nobody, the only people that are probably collabing with Mr. Nightmare is probably Corpse Husband, and like people that are in the millions of subscribers. Like, obviously he's looking out for his own best interest, and he doesn't really. I mean, I've reached out to him before. Obviously there's no shade in that regard, because I understand how it is. You're big and people are going to reach out to you to like collab, and you don't always have time to do it, or maybe you not have interest as well. You know what I mean? So, it would be neat if once in a while like he would just allow like a narrator to kind of be at the end of a video to kind of, you know, allow them to kind of get some traction per se, but it's all good in the hood. Yeah, Roseanne, Joel, you should join the military too. No thanks. I think I'm well beyond military age. Well, I'm not beyond military age legally, but I just I have tons of respect for people who do join the military and serve their country and put that time in. It's hard stuff, and I got a lot of friends that are in it. But would I be good at it or even interested in it? I mean, it certainly would take me away from reading these stories for you. So I think I'll just stick to being a spooky boy online. Kristen with the 10 says, love your videos. Thank you, Kristen. Yes, Lazy Masquerade did just hit 1 million subscribers. So be sure to go congratulate him over on his Instagram, YouTube channel, everywhere, because he has reached the $1 million, or not $1 million, but the 1 million subscriber mark. Hey, says Rules, says, dude, could you please say hi to Flora? We fall asleep to your voice every night, and she's trying to sleep now listening to Well, hello, Flora. And hey, says Rules, what's poppin'? I hope you guys are having a good night. What, I see you got the old check mark next to you, and I'm going to look at your channel real quick. Says Rules with 20.4k subscribees, and he does My Crazy New Year's, Please Fund Me, Clitoral Catastrophe. Nice, that's awesome. Is it so you would say your content's more of like a vlogging style situation? Maybe I'm wrong here, but that's awesome. It's always cool to see other content creators in the chat. It makes me feel good to see other people that are in it to win it. Melissa Traum with the 20 buckaroonie says, thanks for being you. Thank you, Melissa. Same to you, and thank you for the 20. Holy cow. Gothic Rose with the 20 says, baby is due July 19th, so almost there. Nice. I've got a few friends that are actually have a July 19th birthday, coincidentally, so there must be people are getting a little freaky around that time. Sorry, it says, don't mean to out ya there. My bad. Alright, guys, we're going to kick it off with this second story. It's called, I had to trick a creepy man into believing my family was waiting for me when really I was going to an empty house. Okay. Interesting. All the mods up in here today. Hell yeah. Also, after the story, I might go take a whiz break quick. Wonder if I do have a be right back thing for on the screen, but let's kick this off. For some background, I live in the UK and go to a school with a uniform. I go to quite a large all-girls school with about 8 classes of 30 per year, with 5 years in a 6th form attached, so I have heard about creeps lingering outside of the school before, but they are usually sorted out quite quickly by school staff, I guess. At the time, I was in year 9, so just 13 and about 4'9". I had a big homework assignment due, and because I didn't have a computer at home, I stayed late at school to do it in the ICT suite. As it was the beginning of the school year, it was relatively dark at 5 p.m., which is when I got out of school and this event took place. I had to get the bus home as both my parents were working. The bus stop outside my school was fairly busy. There was a couple of other people and me. I had my back up against a fence and noticed a man under the bus stop, facing away from me, but next to the road and opposite the fence I was leaning on. I was aware of my surroundings, as I have had previous experiences with old creeps, and I'm just a generally paranoid person. The man didn't strike me as particularly interesting, but I did notice him glance over at me from the corner of my eye. I then saw a bus and assumed it was mine, so I stepped forward to check. It was not my bus, which was annoying, as I was cold and didn't have a coat. As I went to step back up against the fence, I almost stood back into the man that was under the bus stop originally, but he had moved to directly behind me. He had his arm up against the pole next to the stop, telling you the buses that come to the bus stop. Sorry, that sounded weird for some reason. Sometimes I like reading and like just the pacing of the commas and stuff in the sentence kind of throw me off. Joshua, Gildry, Guidry. Either way, with the $5 says, I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years. Nice. Thank you, Josh, for your service. Appreciate that. I hope you had a good experience while you were there. I hope everything is going well post that. But once again, yeah, thanks for everything. Davis McCod, you've heard this before. Yeah, there's a likely chance based on the kind of pacing at which, we get permission for the stories on the channel, and that there might be a chance that some of the stories you have already heard on other YouTube channels that kind of have gotten to them a little bit quicker. So that's definitely within the realm of possibility. I do, a lot of the unique stories I have on the channel are usually submitted by you guys, but sometimes on the Les Reddit videos, they could be repeats from other places, so definitely anticipate that from time to time. As I went to step back up against the fence, I almost stood back into the man that was under the bus stop originally. Excuse me. Cheese Dog, can I subscribe to you? It's not a good thing to do the awkward promotional thing in the chat, my friend. It's just, well, first off, what kind of content you making? Are you making some diggity dank vids, bruh? As I went to step back up against the fence, I almost stood back into the man that was under the bus stop originally, but he had moved to directly behind me. He had his arm up against the pole next to the bus stop, telling you the buses that come to the bus stop. I felt a bit cornered in, but couldn't move as the other side of me had all the people waiting to get on this bus that was coming. It felt like forever as I could feel this man's breath on the top of my head as I watched the bus cam. What the fuck? Sorry. It felt like forever. Sorry, sometimes I get like a weird start. It felt like forever as I could feel this man's breath on the top of my head as I watched the bus come and collect all the other people at the bus stop, but it was probably only a minute and a half. Once the last person got on that bus, I quickly moved out of this man's area and back against the fence. He moved, so he was back under the bus stop, sitting across from me, staring at the ground. At last, my bus came after about 3 minutes like that. I didn't want to give away the fact that I was getting on this bus, but I had to wave it down, so I stood next to the road to signal it over. As I got on, my heart was going really fast as the man was back. Sorry, some of the grammar just feels weird to me as I'm reading it. It like throws me off. Anthony, my dude, with the 5 says, most of these stories are why I'll never have children. Paranoia. That is a scary thing to think. Like, once you have kids, you gotta be worried about their well-being all the time. I always hear about moms kind of like, suffering from that kind of anxiety, and it definitely is a scary thought, but you gotta train them up right so that they're, prepared for anything. I was actually thinking, about that story that we just read about the person kind of like practicing getting out of the bed to get to the attic and stuff like that. Honestly, practicing for like a weird situation like that, like practicing for a home invasion or practicing for really anything that could be catastrophic, I think is like really smart. Obviously you have families, they do like fire drills and stuff in their house. And as corny as that sounds, like it sounds like something straight out of like, the 50s or something. I really obviously think it's very applicable to today, and maybe you should get it going. Get that. I'm going to do fire drills with Pradeep after this, guys, so we can do it together. As I got on, my heart was really going as the man was back behind me. I had already got my bus card out and scanned it very quickly and only saw a few people downstairs. Normally, there might be a few people upstairs in this case, so that's where I headed. That was probably my biggest success, or mistake, I don't know, to be honest. I got up there and it was completely empty. Great. Well, I couldn't really go back down at this point because I knew the man had already gotten on and would be coming up the stairs, so I did the next best thing. I sat in the outside seat directly in front of the bus's camera, which I kept looking directly at just in case something happened. The man came up the stairs as expected, and he sat at the right back of the bus, not looking before. Whoops. Anthony with the 5 says, well, then call me a genius, because I do that about every day. Nice. Anthony, what kind of, what kind of doomsday peppers? Doomsday Dr. Preppers. What kind of drills do you do to kind of like prep for? Is it like your own personal thing, or do you mean because of the military? Also, we're almost at 400 people. Click that like button if you haven't already to let all the world know of Let's Read streaming. We need to get 400. Fuck. Where am I? Okay. The man came up the stairs as expected, and he sat at the right back of the bus, not before looking and smiling at me as he passed. It was then that I had the idea that probably saved me. I live on a quiet street, and it was already dark now, so there was no way I was getting off this bus at my stop with this man. I pulled out my phone and earbuds. I put one bud in my ear and texted my best friend to play along when I FaceTimed her and informed her of the situation. I understood, and along with some small talk, I talked loudly about how my mom was so mad that I had stayed late at school, and that she had texted me saying that she was waiting at the door for me, and I had told her that I was only 10 minutes away. In reality, I told my mom that I was staying late in the morning before I left for school, and now my mom was at work, 45 minutes away, and so was my dad, about an hour and a half away, with limited access to either of their phones. I was at my stop to get off now, and I took a deep breath as I stood up. I looked back at the man, and he was looking at me as I walked down the stairs. My friend was screen recording at this point just in case something went down. Thankfully, he didn't follow me down, but as I was walking away from the bus, looked back to see him up against the back window, hands and fists staring at me. Wait, what? Hands and fists? What does that mean? Anthony with the 2 says, battle drill 6. Okay. Gun in every room, if not 2. Hey, I feel you on that one. And sometimes I feel embarrassed because my room does I'm strapped, to say the least. But at the same time, the sort of preparatory aspect of that, I feel like I don't really have down. You know what I mean? It definitely could be cleaner, as weird as that sounds. And it's kind of a strange thing to discuss, but, from listening to these stories, the morbid reality of what you should be prepared for is pretty wide, and it's in the scope of things. And honestly, if that's something you feel that you need to prep for and that you're capable of doing, for sure go for it, because better safe than sorry, they always say. Hey, it's your maker, my voice twin, as people say, is Let's Not Read. I'm trying not to, dude. It's getting harder, though, as the stories get longer. Thankfully, he didn't follow me down, but as I was walking away from the bus, looked back to see him up against the back window, hands and fists staring at me. That is when I took my flimsy school shoes off and sprinted to my house. As the next bus stop was still in eyesight, there were 2 on the main road that led down to my street. Once I was down my street and far enough away that you couldn't see the top of it anymore, I told my friend about him against the window. She understood, and I put my shoes back on and sped walk the rest of the way to my house. My family still doesn't know about this, even though I was quite proud of myself on how I handled the situation and how I had ran with no shoes, a heavy skirt, and a big rucksack on my back. I don't think they'll ever know, because as much as I want to ever Jesus, they forgot like 9 letters in that sentence. Anthony with the 5 says, well, if you ever find yourself in Colorado Springs, I'll help you become more crisp. For sure, yeah. I need to practice. I don't know, I see those people who can I respect people who have a lot of those abilities with jujitsu and stuff like that, where they're just pow, 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 someone comes at them with a knife and they just instinctually, after doing it 900 times, muscle memory just kicks in. And honestly, that's the point of preparing, is that your brain is going to be in panic mode. It's going to be thinking about 100 different things, and the different part of your brain is going to be controlling your I don't know, sympathetic nervous system or some shit like that. And it's going to be controlling your body to just respond through muscle memory, and that's what you got to build up. That's why people are good at lifting weights. That's why people are good at shooting targets. I mean, you look at Keanu Reeves. Remember whenever he was showing him like preparing for his role for John Wick and all that kind of stuff. He was at the shooting range going through all those movements, fucking blah 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 blah, speed shooting and stuff. And it's like, you don't get that good from just a day at the range. You get that way from eventually not even realizing you're doing it in the same way that like driving down the highway to your favorite Walmart or whatever the fuck is. You kind of zone out, you know what I mean? Joel, you know in the military you run 4 to 10 miles. I'm fine with that. I could do that. I used to trail run quite a bit. And, you know, I work out and stuff like that still now. Sauce Planet, where do you get the art in your thumbnails? So, 2 people for a while, most recently. I guess we've only actually been going on a year now, which is interesting. We talk about like a relationship. But my good buddy, Robin Mikalsen, I don't know if he's in chat right now, it was actually just his birthday recently, so go say happy birthday to him. He is an amazingly talented individual when it comes to pretty much anything, you know, art related and computer program related. You can see on screen right now, he made that graphic, and he's done a lot of other graphics for people, and he makes all my thumbnails. He's going to make the thumbnail for tomorrow. And then for recently, for my stream stories, Lazy Masquerade, congratulations again on the 1 million. He has turned me on to a fellow by the name of Anthony Salinas. And Anthony has done a lot of art for Lazy Masquerade, Corpse Husband, Be Busted, and various others. And he's currently doing like $10 commissions, I believe, because of the whole coronavirus situation. And so I've been commissioning him out to do a lot of like the theme stories. So he's actually going to do Monday's videos art and Wednesday's videos art for next week. So I love his style, and he pumps them out, you know what I mean? Same with Robin, like they pump out this like really high quality stuff, and for very affordable prices. So if you're looking for somebody, you know, I do believe I at least have Robin linked down below, you know, so check him out. How can you send a story? Yes, so reddit.com/r/let's-read-official. That's linked down below if you want to send in a story. That's how you can do that. That's how you can do that. Okay. I don't think they ever will know, because as much as I don't want to ever stay late at school ever again, I know I probably will have to again at some point, and I don't want my parents to feel guilty about not being able to help if something more serious was to happen while they were at work. But again, to the creepy man who doesn't know what personal space is, or frankly had something more sinister, Jesus. But yeah, to the creepy man who doesn't know what personal space is, or frankly may have had something more sinister plan, let's hope never again. I might have to put that story on like a later part, because once again, like I'm not saying that wasn't like a legitimate fear, and I'm sure it was very creepy the way the guy was doing things. But sometimes when I feel like if I almost feel like I feel more inclined to read the stories where, like, if it was a police report and you were a police officer reading the report, or this was a report, you were like, oh, okay, what that guy did was obviously, or what she did, or whatever, what that person did was obviously not so good, you know. Guys, I'm going to run to the bathroom quick. I got the be right back little marker on there. If people ask, hey, where is he at? Just say, oh, he's taking a mother effing pee-pee. Okay. I am back. Sorry about that. I was a little, hopped up on Mountain Dew. Brought the mic with me. Yeah, you guys could have heard a nice stream. Izzy, who else is in the Discord? Ah, yeah, good question. Who else is here in the Discord? The mic is betraying me. Could you hear me taking a whiz from a mile away there? Steady stream, bro. Could it really pick up that far? Because that's fucking hilarious if it could. Did you hear me wash my hands though? Aren't you proud? Dude, that's weird. That's hilarious. How the fuck did it? Healthy prostate. Hell yeah, brother. When you jerk off 30 times a day, you're gonna have a clean one. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Dude, that's nuts. Maybe you were hearing the sink. I think you may have been hearing the sink. You were hearing me get in the bed with the Wendigo. Dude, don't even bring that up. That's so funny. Oh, okay, Brandon says no. Well, at least you're all proud of me of my strong stream. It was like the Mississippi. Old reliable. Old guys are reliable. Let me lube my lips a little bit. Alright, next time. Well, the bathroom technically is like right next door. But next time I'm gonna... Actually, I have no idea what I would do to keep you guys from hearing my urine. Oh, that's so funny. How the fuck did it pick up that far? Whatever, who fucking cares? Anyways. When I was 18, I was living in a small town. I was friends with ratty skaters around, and they helped connect with this dude who sold. He was 29 at the time and gave me pretty good deals and lived nearby. I wasn't driving at the time, so this was convenient for me. His name was Max. Max has always struck me as a weird dude, but I honestly quite liked his weirdness. Not in a romantic way or anything like that. I kind of liked weird people. We had normal bud, but... We had normal buying and selling interactions of illicit substances that never lasted more than 10 minutes. But... Wait. What the fuck? Sorry. But some weed, maybe smoke a bowl. Oh, buy some. Okay. We had normal illicit subs... God damn it. Trying to say that fucking word is so stupid. I just don't want to, like... Gotta turn the sink on full blast to drown out the sounds of the poops and pees. Dude, that's so strange. Well... Bud. Hey, bud. Can I smoke your bud? Thick stream, bro. Thick stream. I'm the only person to ever take a pee in their life. Oh, I need to get rid of this be right back thing. Okay. We had normal illicit... I can't say that fucking word. What is another word for drugs? Jesus Christ. Drug synonyms. Slang. Medicine, remedy. Panacea? Should I use panacea? Yeah, it's just like all these ones that zoinked, wrecked, high as a kite off one's head. I don't know. What you need to be a reader? Good mic or... Yeah, good mic, and that's pretty much it. I mean... Narcotic. Is marijuana a narcotic? I don't really know. Buy some... Okay, we had normal buying. I think people will get it when I say... We had normal buying and selling interactions that never lasted more than 10 minutes. Buy some bud, maybe smoke a bowl, that's it. He'd often tell me he could drop it off at my house, but I never let him because, as I said before, he was weird. I wasn't afraid of him, but was definitely aware that he and his offers to Sorry, I get caught up. Illegal substances. I don't know why I try saying the word illicit. Illicit substances. Illicit substances. Barbiturate. Weed is definitely... Wait, weed isn't a barbiturate, is it? I wasn't afraid of him, but was definitely aware that he and his offers to deliver were weird. One day in May 2018, I was invited to a bonfire by the same ratty skaters that introduced me to this guy. I had no idea he'd be there, nor was it important to me at all. I brought the guy I was dating at the time. I said hey to everyone, including Max. We stayed for a couple of hours, and some of them played some music on their guitars. Nearing the time I was leaving the bonfire at around 11 p.m., Max was getting upset about something and threw his guitar in the bonfire. I didn't know what he was angry or upset about and paid no mind to it. This happened as I was leaving with the guy I was dating. I went to bed and woke up to paragraphs on paragraphs of crazy texts from Max, ranging from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., like a constant stream of texts, stating things such as, "You know how much I loved you. You're incredibly cruel." He would go back and forth between saying, "I would give you the world if you let me," and You really do deserve him, though." He said really scary things like, "You are a predator and should be snubbed out. Just wait." And, "You are stuck. I will either love you or hate you to the fullest extent my powers behold. Right now, I pay the worst death on you and that idiot." And to top it all off, he said, "Losing you is like losing a mother to me," and told me to tell him I never loved him and that I wouldn't hear from him again if I did. So that's what I did. I said, "I never loved you. Do not message me again," and left it at that. I didn't get a response, nor did I care to get one. Max had never expressed any romantic interest, asked me out or anything. This was all out of nowhere, and he was 11 years older than me. I was barely 18. That night he cut his long hair off and posted photos naked on Facebook, curled up in a fetal position talking about being a statue of shame. It's as if he had a breakdown, but I had no intention of causing that and didn't think I would even offend anyone by bringing the guy I was seeing. Everyone else seemed to like the guy I brought. About a week later, Max texted me pretty late at night and asked if I had seen the flowers he spread along my sidewalk, saying that he stole every flower in the vicinity of my neighborhood that night. I asked him how he knew where I lived and said I hadn't seen the flowers, so he must have had the wrong house. I also told him he shouldn't do that as I never felt anything for him and so on. He told me that he had heard I lived on the same block as another one of the skater guys we were both friends with, and he wasn't wrong. The skater guy I lived by was on the other side of the block, and I never walked that way, so I never saw the flowers. I blocked his number and didn't hear from him again for weeks. And weeks later, I woke up after a rough night and there were loads of flowers on the sidewalk right outside my house, along with a little bouquet at the top of Flowers. So funny, the flowers thing. Are you guys like a flowery, like you enjoy receiving flowers type of group? Like if one of your many, many stalkers put a bunch of flowers on your sidewalk, would that just kind of like a deep embedded sort of evolutionary tingle in your loins would just like swell up inside of you and you'd be head over heels to see a bunch of flowers? Weeks later, I woke up after a rough night and there were loads of flowers on the sidewalk right outside my house along with a little bouquet at the top of my walkway. I was livid. I wasn't scared yet, and stupidly I unblocked his number and texted him asking why there were flowers outside my house. This confirmed that this indeed was where I lived. I still to this day feel so stupid for texting him and making it known that after weeks he had found my house. He responded saying, Sounds nice. 'Twas me. I gave him a load of... It says I bitched him out, but I don't know what... I was trying to think of, like, what another copy of, or, you know, a synonym for bitched out would be. Flowers, no. Chocolate, yes. Okay, so chocolate all over your sidewalk. Just... Hopefully the ants haven't gotten to it or it's not melted yet, but... I bitched him out, basically, and blocked his number. Reamed him out. Okay, there we go. Reamed him out. I reamed him out, basically, and blocked his number again. About a week later, I was out of town, and my roommate texted me a photo of a heart with a peace sign inside of it and my name written under it, drawn in chalk, outside her house. When I got back into town, I went to the courthouse and began the process of getting a restraining... It says stalking order, but I assume it's a restraining order, right? Dude, I need to find a freaking barber, dude. This sucks. I look like Castaway. When I got back into town, I went to the courthouse and began the process of getting a restraining order against him. When I left the courthouse, I went to Max's work and told him he needed to stop this behavior and that he was stalking me. He looked me in the eyes with no facial expression and said, "If you don't leave, I'm calling the cops." I got angry and said loudly, "Call the cops. I was just talking to them about you," and left his work in a rage. Soon after this, I began driving again. I once drove by him and he noticed it was me. The next day I woke up with my car covered in flowers. I presented my case to the judge and she put the restraining order in place. He was served with it by police officers and I thought that was that and he wouldn't be bothering me again. I was, sorry. I can feel a burp welling up and then I'm just like, oh shit. Definitely a 5 out of 10 burp. I don't know what you guys think. Davis, you cut your own hair? It just sucks. I used to go to this barber that did a sick ass fade and a fucking, made my beard look freaking on point and shit. And it just, I would never probably be able to get it, do it very well, Yeah, I'm thinking if my microphone can pick up my piss in the other room, it probably can pick up my beard scratches. You can move to Georgia. Is Georgia open? I'm kind of curious, what states are sort of, more lenient in regards to all this stuff. I was wrong. After the restraining order was served, he made several other chalk messages on my sidewalk, left random gifts for me like chalk, and beheaded My Little Pony heads on beer bottles. I always brought these things to the police station, but they said I needed to catch him doing it, take a photo or get a security camera. So, I got a security camera, and really hoped that I would catch him. It turned out my security camera was stupid, and I couldn't just watch the videos it took, but had to skip through second by hand. It was an impossible task. I was terrified of leaving my house at night at this point. I never had my curtains open anymore, and I was so frustrated that my livelihood was being taken away from me. Ultimately, I unblocked his number in hopes that he would text me directly violating the restraining order, and after a few days it worked. He sent me a weird text saying something like, "Forgive me. We are charming. This is harming. Let us try again." By now, it's September 2019, and he finally goes to jail. He's facing up to a year in jail and has to stay there until our court date. I finally start calming down. I am able to go outside at night, even just to get into my car. I let myself have my curtains open sometimes. I am starting to feel alive again. Right when I start feeling secure in my small town life again, someone posted bail, and he was released after only 3 months in jail, and I went back to living in fear. We still had court dates coming up, and I was optimistic that he would serve more time for ruining my life for so long. His lawyer kept pushing the court date back to gather evidence, and after about 6 months of pushing it back, the state decided he wouldn't do anything more and closed the case, basically. I have moved out of town 3+ hours away at this point, so he didn't actually have an option to continue this behavior. Living in this new place, I feel safe. I can walk at night and don't have to have my curtains closed all the time. It's been over years since they decided to close the case. About a month ago, he began responding to my friends' Instagram stories, friends that live here in this new town, telling them how fond he is of me. I have always had him blocked, but my Instagram isn't private, so he must have found them that way. I have since charged my account to... shite. Yeah, keeping your Instagram and all your social media private is very, very important, I feel like. Oh, we're all filthy animals, huh, Darren? That's true. I have since changed my account to private, and he hasn't messaged any more friends of mine. I refuse to be fearful now, the way I was then. He will never find where I live or where I work now. However, my life is forever changed after this experience. I will always be more aware of people and their weird energy. I will always close my curtains early in the evening and make sure all the windows and doors are locked. I will always live a little bit in... shit. I will always live a little bit in fear, maybe not of him, but of it happening again. He ruined my life for a year, and I truly wish he had gotten that time in jail. He deserves it. Davis needs to get laid. Get laid, or what is it? Get paid, get laid. Easy peasy. Alright, so this next story is... I can't even read it. Oh, here we go. He lost his phone inside his car. Nice, nice, nice. Get paid, I'm poor. That's step one. I don't really know how to make that happen, but face cam right now. I don't know, man. Like, I got selfies and shit on Discord and stuff. But like, you guys are already kind of piss deep in my life in the bathroom, you know what I mean? So it's like having the mild sense of privacy, here on while I'm doing streaming and stuff with no face cam. Obviously, I have the selfies up. You can check those out if you really want to check it out. It's on Discord. But I think just, since my stream focuses primarily around voice and people who want to maintain the mystery can maintain it, I think I'm going to keep it that way. I'm 29. I'll be 30 in June 4th. We talked about a whiskey stream. Though I don't know if whiskey is the smartest thing. Basically, what people had suggested was that every $100 increment of donation, which I know sounds like a lot, but I think it will keep me from dying but I also worry that people would be so motivated to donate on my birthday and to get me like piss drunk that it could get out of hand fast. So I don't know if I should approach it from more of like a exponential type of, I don't even know, adjustment. But yeah, I am an old man. I don't feel like an old man. I feel very spry. I feel like I could, bring down a gazelle. La, 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 la. I've got, freaking bull shark testosterone running through my veins. But yeah, like every $100 increment, I would take a shot of this, said whiskey and stuff. And I definitely would do it. You know what I mean? I promise I would do it. Tequila, no thank you. That sounds like acid reflux, vomit all over my keyboard. Bad news. You would drink too. Nice. I don't know if whiskey would be the if that would be the greatest idea. 30, flirty, and thriving. Hell yeah. That's my 2020 motto. But I don't know. What would you guys suggest? Like, what's the go-to shot? Would $100 increment keep me from dying? Because what if people, like, I'm not literally not trying to like flex or anything, but just like hypothetically, you guys just like went balls deep. Yeah, somebody donates. Oh, dude, if someone donated $500, it's like it would be great, but it's like then I would have to fucking take some pretty heavy shots there. And do you want to kill me? Is that the goal? Is that the goal? You guys want to kill me? Yeah, if everybody drank along, that would be fucking hilarious. So I would have to like cap it out at something, or I don't even know. I have no idea, but it would be Jägermeister? Ooh, I don't know why that sounds gross, but maybe. $1 for every birthday spank. 1,000 spankies. Pennsylvania is opening May 8th. I'd read about that. I know that non-essential businesses are kind of opening up to the process that essential businesses are doing right now, which is interesting. I wonder if I wonder how it will sort of kind of ease out from there. You know what I mean? Elizabeth with the 10 buckaroonie says, love you, Joel. Best part of my week. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, this is stream number 3 this week, which is pretty litty lay titty. I think in some ways the coronavirus, Cardi B, would the coronavirus has definitely kept had me stream quite a bit, because I'm not really like, sometimes I go to the gym and I get like really worn out, you know what I mean? You have to record a radio drama for college. Any advice? Audacity you can use to remove the background noise. Basically what I do is I record like at least 10 to 20 seconds of like background noise before I start the recording, so that I can use that as a sound profile in Audacity to remove background noise, and it makes your audio quality sound like crispy cream. Garrett with a 2 says unicorn tears. Wait, is that a drink? I've never heard of it. PA's only opening up in sections. Lord knows when the hell we'll be able to get out of here. I don't know. I know that my area, I think, might be more inclined like to be like a test zone or something like that, because it's meets certain criteria. But the whole, like, they talked about contact tracing, where it's like, what is it? They reach out to people who have had the virus and then reach out to those they've had and then isolate them. And to me, it sounds like might as well just reach your hand up my butt and use me as a puppet, you know? 420 viewers, nice. Yeah, New York is only getting more locked down. This is so fucking stupid, dude. Like, how long? And the worst part is that, like, when people start to come out, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna bitch about it anymore. It's like it brings up too many negative emotions right now, and I think it's best to just focus on the positive. I think, yeah, we'll just ignore the corona bullshit for a while. Maya B with 5 said, thank you, Maya, says, you definitely seem to have this young at heart vibe to you. I can respect that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like time has gone by quick. I don't know if it's the YouTube life and all that kind of stuff. I mean, no marriage, no kids. I mean, I'm sure that, keeps me from feeling like stressed or whatever. And I've been able to stay very active. Exciting news. My bike is fixed, and I'll be able to get that tomorrow. So I'm hoping to go on some long sort of bike rides. Joel, is Horny Computer your Instagram? So that's my meme page, Instagram. Yeah. So a lot of edgy memes on there. If you're easily offended, do not follow it, because obviously they're just jokes. They're just memes. Just memeing, bro. So if you're looking for, I also need memes too. If you got content that you want to send me, that you want posted, say it's not something I necessarily want to post on the page. I definitely want to post it on the story, because I like to have like a ton of content, but you don't want to like flood people with shit. So yeah, it's freaking DM me your memes because I need them, or post them on our Discord. That's where I try to go to, but I feel like sometimes all the good memes like they get posted in like Ram Ranch tech support, which is our it's like our voice chat. B McQueen with the 10 says, I listen to your videos to help me sleep. I've been binging while I'm sick and quarantined this week. Keep up the great work. Thank you, B. Stay healthy. Keep your immune system up. Maybe go out for a walk from time to time. Avoid people if you can. I don't know if you're allowed to leave, but hopefully they're not just like boarding people up inside of houses. We're just going to weld you in. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Emmy B with the 5 says, I'm glad I woke up in time to catch a stream. Nice. Thank you, Emmy B. Welcome back. Welcome. Okay, so we are on story number. What is it? What is German? Uno? No. Eins, zwei, drei, vier. So we're on story number 4. You thought I was 20 based on my voice. I mean, is there really any different? Like, I've heard 20-year-olds that sound old as hell. I've heard 45-year-olds that sound like they're teenagers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the voice box is such a weird thing. You know what I mean? Maybe 30-year-olds are like more like, yo, hey guys, I'm 30. I've I got someone pregnant and shit, and like number 15. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I literally at this point, I still, I don't know if you guys do this, but people that are like in my age demographic, I still call them kids. So like, if there's a or boys or stuff like that, like my roommate was talking about a guy at work that he was friends with, and I was like, that nice boy at work, and he's like, oh yeah, the 26-year-old boy, and it's like I don't know, I guess people just like still feel, maybe the generation, like the sort of like 30 is the new 20 kind of bullshit. Like I feel like that kind of applies, because I feel like I'm definitely not the maturity level that my parents were at, you know what I mean? Smokers have deeper voices because they can fit more in their throat. Jonas DeBun, thank you. You broke both your arms? Holy shit. Hope you're okay. I feel like it's a tough time to break arms, especially with the hospital system, but maybe there's not many people there right now, so they can like help you more. Forever 21 and yeah, that's my favorite store in the mall. The female corpse husband. This happened to me, a 23-year-old female, and to a good friend Jenny that I had when we were This happened to me and to a good friend Jenny. I see. Okay. This happened to me and to a good friend I had when we were both in high school, so approximately 6 years ago. We were 16 and we loved drinking and smoking, but since we were underage, we had spent quite a few nights standing next to a convenience store waiting for an adult. Shit. We were 16 and we loved drinking and smoking, but since we were underage, we had spent quite a few nights standing next to a convenience store waiting for an adult. I don't know why the fuck that's hard to say. Waiting for an adult stranger who... I don't know, it's like a tongue twist. An adult. Any sort of like vowels, like they just like fucking blend together. I also kind of, I feel like the age gap, like for girls and guys, like I feel like girls get a lot more done earlier in their life than like guys do. Like a guy, maybe I'm wrong, I probably am wrong, but I kind of feel like the sort of like a girl having kids at 22 is some sort of like data point of equality to a guy having kids at 32. As weird as that sounds, like I don't know, like or accomplishing certain adult life tasks. Like I just kind of feel like girls are always kind of like honed in on like maturity, whereas a guy is a lot more like, whoa, dude, we're just kind of whoa, and Do I know about SCP? I do. Secure, contain, poopy. Okay, we're going to try this sentence again and not completely botch it. Words are hard. We were 16 and we loved drinking and smoking, but since we were underage, we had spent quite a few nights standing next to a convenience store waiting for an adult. Jesus Christ, why is it so hard? We had spent quite a few nights standing next to a convenience store waiting for an adult stranger who agrees to buy us something to drink and cigarettes, with our own money, of course. The store is in a pretty traffic part of town. A lot of people coming in and out, and cars, buses, and pedestrians. Also, we lived in such a safe city, little to no crime. We can walk at night at 3 a.m. without having to worry too much. I remember this one time where Jenny and I walked to the store to try and buy cigarettes. It wasn't too late in the evening, about, fuck, I'm an idiot. Why do they put military time? Like, I know what military time is. It's 8 p.m., but, like, in the instant, it's like, why would... I don't know. Why is military time needed in this? 2000. I remember this one time where Jenny and I walked to the store to try and buy cigarettes. It wasn't too late in the evening, about 8 p.m., when we succeeded and sat on a bench next to the store for a smoke. When a strange man looks at us, parks his car, and exits the driver's seat to open all of his car doors and stand there, weirdly staring at us, at different parts of his car, at the floor. He looked like he was in his late 50s, frizzy white hair, and eyes that looked extremely unaware, but not frantic or anything. Now, I don't know if most girls are like this. I know I'm not, and my logic says that we shouldn't be like this for the most part, but I seem to attract girls who are very engaging when a person who screams, shit, man. I don't know. My brain is broken right now. Some of these sentences are just like fucking 30,000 words in one sentence, and I like can't process it when I'm reading. I can, like, because normally you can kind of tell where things should stop and pause and this and that, but for some reason this is like all like awkwardly blending together. Lady Luxhun with the 5 says, yo, love the pureness we get from Hey, thank you, I appreciate it. Try to keep it pure, 100% Purell. Maya B with the 2 says, have a good night, Joel, love you, stay well. Thank you, Maya. See you next time. Have a good night. Okay. Uh-oh, Hannah's got the Illuminati after her. She's done, dude. She's done, man. I have a bidet. I wish I had a bidet. That'd be sick. Gothic, you got a few more subs. Nice. Yeah, guys, if you guys want to hear, some spooky stories from a female narrator, Gothic is also a creepypasta narrator, and it can expand upon your narration experience. So be sure to go subscribe to my good friend and mod, Gothic Rose. No, I don't know. I'm confused about this statement. Why the fuck is she talking about a 50-year-old man, and now it says, I don't know if most girls are like this. I know I'm not, and my logic says that we shouldn't be like this for the most part, but I seem to attract girls who are very engaging when a person who screams stranger danger approaches them. What? What is that sentence? Did that make sense? Most part, but I seem to attract girls who are very engaging when a person who screams stranger danger approaches them. Creeps weirdos men who just awkwardly disturb us just to hit on one of us even though none of us is interested. Somehow every good girlfriend I've had this weird annoying, and may I say unsafe habit to entertain. Oh my god, I don't know why that is, like, hurts my brain to read for some reason. Sorry. No, I don't know if most girls are like this. I know I'm not, and my logic says that we shouldn't be like this for the most part, but I seem to attract girls and friends who are very engaging when a person who screams stranger danger approaches them. Creeps, weirdos, men who just awkwardly disturb us just to hit on one of us even though none of us is interested. Somehow every good girlfriend I've had this weird, annoying, and may I say unsafe habit to entertain these harassers. The men felt incredibly... The men. God. it's like trying to read bad rap lyrics sometimes, you know what I mean? Like you just can't find the flow. Fuck. The man felt incredibly off to me, and I remember Jenny looking at him, then me in a... Dude, just read your story over again before posting it. I'm so like... I'm sorry. I'm being rude. I'm being a Rudy rude. A Ruby rude. A Rocky rude. The men felt the men. Fuck. It's like I forget that the beginning has a... Okay. I wish you could see this story. I'm sure by reading or you could type in the words to Reddit and find it, but... Okay. The man felt incredibly off to me, and I remembered Jenny looking at him, then at me in a confused look when he walked towards us, a few meters from his car, with all of his car doors still open. He stood about 2 meters from us and about a meter from his car, started a babbling monologue about how he lost his phone inside his car, he thinks, perhaps underneath the seat. My heart is beating fast just from thinking about this. He didn't give us a second to respond before asking us to look for it for him. Jenny stands up and starts walking to his car. I don't know much about cars. It was an old gray standard vehicle, not a van or anything, but I yelled, "Jenny, what are you doing? Don't go inside a strange man's car." The man noticed my distraught, and Jenny says, "I'm not getting inside. I'm just looking from the outside with my flash camera." He responds, "No, please just look inside to find it." She put maybe 1 foot inside, but I gave her a look and tried to entertain this situation and mostly him so he wouldn't notice that she is inside his car behind him. So I asked the man, "Why do you think your phone is underneath the seat?" "I was driving here and heard it ring from somewhere inside the car when my daughter called. I thought it might be inside my pocket." "And it isn't? How would you know if your daughter, if... And it isn't? How would you know it's your daughter if you lost it?" "No, it might be in my pocket. I don't know. Can you check?" He walks a little closer to me. He had a confused look, like he sincerely didn't know where his phone is, like he's some sort of child. "No, ew. Why would I check your pocket? You're a grown man. Check it yourself." By this time, Jenny comes back to stand near me as the man is a complete weirdo and beginning to scare me. As he continues to ask and beg us to check inside his car, I tell him no and that I can tell his number for... Sorry. "We thought you drank too much while you read that. What the fuck?" No, yeah. Oh, fuck. You know, that's what I'm kind of worried about is, like, if I do a birthday stream where I'm, like, recording stories for the... Because it's going to be on a Thursday, June 4th, and, like, I just thought, like, if I'm... What if I do get pretty drunkety-drunky and I'm, like, trying to, like, actually record solid stories, like... Will I have slurred words? Maybe I'll get even better. What if I become, like, an unstoppable reader while I'm drunk? And then I'll just have to be an alcoholic. Big deal. Big whoop. Whatever. As he continues to ask and beg us to check inside his car, I tell him no and that I can just call his number for him to see where the ring is coming from. The man says he's out of battery, so it wouldn't help. Keeps asking us to basically crawl to his back seat. Thank God for extreme situational alertness while in situations of stress, because the next thing I said may have saved Jenny, who was completely engaged and stood next to his car for a long time. "You said your daughter just called you and that you heard it from inside the car, and you didn't find the phone since then. Then you have no way of knowing the status of your battery. If you did, then you're harassing us, sir, and we're leaving. Good luck finding your phone inside your pockets yourself." Now, revisiting this story, I'm aware that there could be reasonable explanations to all of this, but that could contradict this whole creep guy. Oops, sorry. Says rules. Says, I posted a story on R Let's Read Official called The House by the Ruins. If anyone wants to narrate it, I'd be honored. Just comment on the post letting me know your YouTube channel. Oh, nice. Thanks, dude. Maybe one, I don't know if there are any other narrators in here as well that would like to check that out. Uh-oh, Rose drinks. How much do you drink, Rose? I won't tell the police, I promise. Now, revisiting this story, I'm aware that there could be reasonable explanations to all of this that could contradict this whole creepy guy narrative. Maybe he's too old to bend over to look for his phone. Maybe this was an emergency, and that's why he was so incoherent and anxious to find his phone. Maybe he was out of battery and his speakerphone in his car passed his daughter's... What? Blah 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 blah. Maybe he was out of battery and his speakerphone in his car passed his daughter's next phone call over to the car system. But nothing I can think of can explain him being so stubborn with wanting us inside the car. So whatever reasons that could make this story less creepy will not stand given the creepy vibe that this guy had. Oh my gosh, I just had a... Yeah, I think I'll do this for next stream. But, yes, welcome Sydney Lynn. She has become a full-grown pizza. So I kind of... Oh, there it is. It pops up. But I was thinking you can kind of like add alternative notification sounds. Depending, you know, just like it alternates every so often. And I was thinking it'd be hilarious if you could do, I want to do the mischievous dog, the chills thing. So funny, man. He's so freaking funny. But thank you, Sydney. Welcome, welcome to the Buttersock cult. You will find a home here. And next stream is Saturday. Potentially Saturday, maybe Sunday. Hopefully, Lord willing, we live to that day, this meteorite coming. This happened around 10 years ago in the south of the UK. For reference, I'm a 28-year-old male, and at the time I was working part-time at a fuel station on an A road which linked a small village to a ring road into the nearby city. The village itself was quiet, high-end, and extremely expensive to live in. It was the sort of place that only had one chain store, and it was a Waitrose. Is that how you say it? A Waitrose? Waitrose? And it's like a UK place I've never heard of. Huge asteroid. Huge. Two pairs. A pair of asteroids. Massive. Coming right for Earth's face. And Miracle with the 5 says, keep it up. Thank you, Miracle. Thank you. I just passed Earth yesterday. Do you think it will loop back around the sun? Dude, what is up with, like, these sort of conspiracy realms always, like they constantly, it's just doomsday after doomsday. Waitrose? Okay. It's not like Waitrose, it's just Waitrose. Waiting on my roses. It was 4 miles. 4 miles from Earth, or... Because that's pretty dang close. Waitrose. Okay, I just want to make sure I get it right, because knowing British slang, it could have been like... Retrosy. Oh, wait... What? How do you pronounce it? Oh, Waitrose. Oh, or Waitrose? Oh, is it Waitrose? So I've got it right. It was on a course to hit Earth, but NASA sent a device to knock it off course. Oh, how the fuck would you... How would we know that at all? That sounds like some next level Independence Day. Well, not Independence Day. What's that movie? Meteorite. Starring Ben Affleck. We just talked about it last time. You sound like Oliver Twist. Oh, 4 miles in size. Holy shit. Now that would have been like an Earth-ending scenario. Well, there was like an asteroid that passed by Earth. It was called Atlas. and it was, you know, I guess an innocuous situation, but it was like Deep Impact. Yeah, kind of. Wait, so let's see. I'm just gonna look up how to say Waitrose. Pronounce Waitrose. Let's see. Emma saying she always gets it wrong. Waitrose. Waitrose. Because sometimes I feel like British people kind of like turn their T's into CHs, at least by comparison to Armageddon. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Cloud Atlas. No, that's a good movie. Waitrose. Just, can you, if I say it wrong, can you just at me? Anybody who's from the area. Wait, where was I? Oh, yeah. It was the sort of place that only had one chain store, and it was a Waitrose. Everything else was either boutiques or privately owned gourmet grocers, so as someone who had always enjoyed cars, it was always fun to see what kind of high-end luxury sports cars would adorn the forecourt on any given day. This is where I met Michael. Michael was in his late 40s, dark hair, well-dressed. Always wore Gant or... Gant? What the fuck is Gant? NASA said they were testing a device to knock it off course to prepare for a scenario if they ever had to. What the fuck device would that be? Dude, remember, okay, Waitrose. Okay, yes, nice, thank you. What's his name? Elon Musk, didn't they send up a bunch of, like, satellites that are, like, kind of, it almost look like Christmas lights or UFOs in the sky, but I don't know if they're used for imagery of the universe or whatever, but that'd be sick if they, secretly were working on a Gant this, Gant that. Is it Gaunt? I've never heard of the store Gaunt before. I've heard of Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren. So fancy. Always wore stuff like Ralph Lauren or his workday's tailored Canali. Why? Who the fuck gives about these freaking name brand shit? Canali suits. Gaunt. Is it Gaunt? Is it? You put the umlaut. That helps literally zero. Have you watched videos on Secure Team 10? I've seen Secure Team 10. I haven't. I remember for a while me and my friend wanted to make a channel related to like alien stuff because a lot of his videos literally consisted of him just going to a like an alternative news site and then just like word for word stealing the article from their site or whatever. I mean, I don't knock him for it because I mean there's so many like just reporting the news type stations or YouTube channels, and I always thought like, holy shit, he just pumps out this content, essentially reading word for word and using the pictures from this website. I'm like, I could start a fucking UFO channel, and because I mean he would post that and it would get like 500,000 views. I don't know how. I mean, I'm actually curious how Secure Team's channel's doing now. I remember for a while he was like he was very conspiratorial, like cryptically posting shit about like they're trying to shut him down or some shit, and I thought that was really weird. Oh, interesting. 2 weeks ago, something massive is hiding behind these lights. Multiple giant objects pass by the moon. Now that was a cool video. Honestly, that was a sweet ass video because it looked very authentic. It wasn't something I watched on his channel, but yeah. Anyways, I need to watch The Peanut Butter Baby. What's that about? Alex says, hey, Joseph, my mom said you can stay the night tomorrow at my place. Nice, dude. Are we going to be gaming? Is it big gamer time? Ask your mom if I can sleep in her bed again. Wink, wink. Alright, what the fuck am I doing? It was the sort of place that only had one chain store. I read that. What the fuck? The guy's got to list all of his like fancy bullshit. All right. When they were deleting his video. I know, like it's like he had to like stick to some narrative that like, you know, he was like under investigation by the FBI. I mean, he didn't outright say that, but he was keeping it very ambiguous. And it's like, listen, man, just come be honest. Tell him that you may or may not have existed within the mild realm of, you know, potentially the gray area of copyright or whatever. Or your channel has been, you know, demonetized like everybody else's situation. There's not some grander conspiracy behind it. It's just YouTube sucks sometimes, you know what I mean? And yeah, so, but at the same time, I do really like his content. I like that there's an alien channel that has 2 million, you know, subscribers. It's badass, you know what I mean? I think we need that way more than we need, you know, I don't really even know who to knock on anymore. That's huge because I feel like I kind of have pretty good respect for the majority of content creators because it is hard as fuck to make it. Original Asherella with the 5 says, I have always had sleep paralysis. Before I knew SP was an actual thing, the thought crossed my mind that I was being abducted by aliens. I was like 12. Shit, that is scary. What kind of games do I like to play? I play a lot of Overwatch, regrettably. And I realize at this point, I'm so fucking over playing. I'm going to get on a tirade about this, and I say at the same time, dude, if that game wants to survive, if it wants to keep people interested, when Overwatch 2 comes out, which is essentially Overwatch 2 is not really a sequel, it's like just PvE and with little bit new upgraded graphics, and each character has like ability trees and shit like that, and it's just, you know, you're fighting against robots and looks kind of stupid. But they're going to keep Overwatch 1 as the PvP aspect, and I hope that they just like randomly influx like 5 new tanks and 5 new healers that suddenly make the roster just like massive. And I know that sounds like a terrible option for balancing and stuff, but right now it is so unbelievably frustrating trying to play Overwatch because I'm going to tell you the fun tanks to play. They're all like pretty fun. You know, they all have their certain aspects of fun. But the ones that you will commonly see in Overwatch played, you have Roadhog, right? Because Roadhog can like pretty much, if he wants to, he's very self-sustaining. He's a DPS tank. You know, he can get lots of kills and make a big difference. But he is not a shield, and he, you know, if there's no shield, he essentially is just like a sitting duck like everybody else. And he's not going to contribute to the sort of overall tanky utility that a lot of like tank heroes have. Then you have Ball. Ball, it goes around like a super monkey ball, and he has like a Spider-Man like string that shoots out of his butthole that like helps him fly around. And people think he's fun because he's very mobile, and he can also carry matches and stuff with DPS and that kind of thing. But both of those characters can also be like hard throws, you know what I mean? So you're always kind of like, someone always needs to play what they call main tank, which is like a shield tank, which Reinhardt's badass, but he also is kind of helpless unless he's synchronizing with like a Zarya. And then Orisa can pretty much be solo tank most of the time because her shield resets so quickly, but she is so boring. Orisa is the most boring character they have ever made in the entire series, and it's so frustrating because she has so much utility, and she can pretty much she has so much utility, but she's just so boring, like mind-numbingly boring. And yeah, it's like anymore, it's like people, they're all selfish and they just pick characters that they want to have fun with, which I respect that. But most of the time, each map has like a tank meta where these tanks are going to be useful for defense, these tanks are going to be useful for assault, and most of the time you don't get that, and then you're just like left to feel helpless as you watch your team flounder and suck ass. You know what I mean? So anymore, I've just been playing a shit ton of McCree I'll wait in the DPS queue because I don't care anymore. And McCree's just like the best character in the game. He's not the best one, but I'm just so like the balancing. Blizzard Blizzard as a company has no idea what they're doing. They don't listen to their community. They just circle jerk each other all day, and like they either like super nerf something or super over buff something, or they make a character that's OP. It's so pointless. You saw the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer. I haven't seen it. Does it look badass? Would you fight Chills in a charity boxing match? Oh man, I would feel so terrible to punch Chills. That would be mean. And he's a really, really nice guy. And I feel like I couldn't he's just such a smiley, happy guy. I could never like bring myself to hurt my baby. To hurt my baby Chills. No, I guess if it came down to it and it was like a real, big event, like that would really actually help charity, and he was on board with it. I mean, like, I think it would be fun. Boxing is interesting because just like martial arts and jiu-jitsu, like, dude, you fucking gas yourself quick, especially people who don't know how to regulate their breathing. And yeah, you need to look Chills up. Yeah, let me know what you think of Chills. He's honestly great, and he does put out good content. Yeah. He always wore Ralph Lauren or on his work days tailored Canali suits. Is it Canali? Dude, what the fuck? How do you say? I just know people were like, Canali, dude. He said fucking Canali. Oh my god, he said Canali. Canali. Oh, this has 3 upvotes with 0 downvotes, so we should be good.
Canali.
Canali. Canali. The all-you-can-eat soup, a salad, a breadstick suit. He always wore Ralph Lauren or, on his workdays, tailored Canali suits. He was an all-around nice guy, exceptionally polite, which was actually a rarity as most of the residents of surrounding areas seemed to despise anyone who didn't qualify for the additional tax bracket. We got chatting about his collection of vehicles or the watches he wore. He'd always show up wearing some kind of Rolex and driving his Aston Martin, Range Rover, or Porsche, so there was always a lot to talk about. Okay. He'd always show up wearing some kind of Rolex and driving his Aston Martin, Range Rover, or Porsche, so there was always a lot to talk about. I got to know that he worked in finance, and the conversation got onto what I was planning to do with my life, also to work in finance, and we'd always have these pleasant conversations until I left that part-time job in favor for taking up an apprenticeship role at my uncle's brokerage. Michael is important, and we'll get to that. Fuck. Exceptionally moist. Your internet's crapping out. Let's see, is the stream still... Yeah, excellent connection, so yeah, sorry about that. Michael is important, and we'll get to that. Why does that sound so weird? We'll get to why. Okay. Michael is important, and we'll get to why shortly. Something to be known about my uncle is that he's a man with a lot of fingers and a lot of pies, literally. As well as his brokerage and property portfolio, he also owned a few takeaways from cash flow. As well as his brokerage and property portfolio, he also owned a few takeaways for cash flow purposes. I think we all know what that means, and as such, I'd occasionally step in as a delivery driver when a driver would let him down. Luckily, my uncle also lived in the previously mentioned village, and the main pizza place he owned catered to the residents of said village, so tips were usually quite decent, and my uncle would usually throw me a few quid for helping out. Fast forward to summer 2008, and I've been roped into dropping off a few pies at a property on an extremely prestigious road. Average house price was well above $1.4 million, and I'm intrigued to actually get close enough to see what these houses actually look like, as they're all gated and set far back from the road behind a shroud of trees and shrubs. So I find the place and buzz the intercom when a voice comes back sort of muffled, just saying, "Yes?" So I answer with the name of the takeaway, and the gates slowly open, and I make my way up the driveway to a very large mock Georgian home, complete with detached 4-car garage, and that's when I see Michael's number plates. Do you guys have any idea what this guy is talking about, like as far as uncle goes? Because I'm kind of confused. Like, does the uncle do sort of like nefarious things or something like that? Like, I just wasn't really picking up on it. Wasn't picking up what he was putting down, so to say. So I answered with blah. What is this? And this is a confusing. And that's when I see Michael's number plates. Yeah, honestly, the quarantine I feel like has been taking a toll on people's like mental health, especially if you're a student, where you rely heavily or have relied heavily on social interaction with other students and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's all this fear going around that you can't go see your friends, you can't go participate in things, you can't exercise, you can't leave your house, you can't, you know, it's just like, dude, I can see why people be depressed. It's fucking sad. And it's like people fucking shame them for it, and it's just stupid. Oh, it's like a license plate. Okay. So I answered with the name of the takeaway, and the gates slowly open, and I make my way up the driveway to a very large mock Georgian home, complete with detached 4-car garage, and that's when I see Michael's number plates. He had his initials for his car with the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and it was the same for his wife. I was interested to see up close the sort of life this guy had, if I'm completely honest, especially as a young aspiring financier. I exited my car, brought out the pizzas, and the double doors open, and that's when I saw an unfamiliar face looking back at me. It was a man, early 20s maybe, thin and shaved head. I can remember he was wearing no shirt and some scruffy dreams. He was wearing dreams. Have I done a SCP tale? I have not. My channel's not really oriented towards SCP stuff. I've helped with other channels by reading like SCPs for their channel, long back in the day of creepypasta, but no, I don't really do SCPs on here, though I do like the idea of them. There was this game called Control. I don't know if you guys played it. It was made by Remedy, and it's crazy because like the gunplay and everything is super smooth and really, really good. But man, for a game that was like, you know, around like super secret like government organizations that study like SCPs, and essentially it was like an SCP Foundation type game, like a really high quality one. It was like one of the most boring stories ever. I don't know if any of you guys have played it, but I just found like the main character to be boring. I found all the side characters boring. I found their motive, like everything was just like no personality. Like everything was dry, and like everything was like melodramatic, but like not even like to the extent that it was like, you know, anime melodramatic. It was just, it felt like it missed the mark as far as story goes. Now gameplay, not bad. I exited my car, brought out the pizzas, and the double doors opened, and that's when I saw an unfamiliar face looking back at me. It was a man, early 20s maybe, thin and shaved head. I can remember he was wearing no shirt and some scruffy jeans and trainers. He was also holding onto something behind his back. "Hey, bring the pizzas through to the kitchen." I can remember his voice being hoarse and barely audible, and with an accent I'd never heard before. Nervously, I said nothing and just looked at him, which made him visibly angry. "Bring the pizza through," he repeated, more aggressive this time, and I finally responded, "Where's Michael? This is Michael's place, right?" And it is completely true that in situations like this, your mouth goes completely dry and to always follow your gut. This guy was setting off alarm bells and telling every fiber of my being to just get off the property. Unfortunately, this is when it dawned upon me that it's a gated property and I was locked in. This is when things went from bad to worse. I can remember the terror swelling up inside of me when he moved his hand in front of him to show me a large kitchen knife and uttered the words, "Run." I dropped the pizza onto the gravel. Sorry, chaps. Hey. Alex E with the 5 says, "Hey, Joseph, I'm fitting about to go to bed. Please tell everyone in the chat to tuck me in. Thanks." Guys, please tuck Alex in. I think if we get all 420 hands involved, he may never be able to leave his bed. So let's help him out. Thank you, Alex. Have a good night. Have a good night. I didn't miss somebody, did I here? That was Asherelio up there. Okay, cool. A cuckoo. Oh, and Karen Foul with a 2. Thank you, Karen. The Gwabble. Dude, I definitely like have like sometimes I'll break into like a speech impediment like thing where I sound like a 4-year-old. Now I don't have a speech impediment, as you can tell, but sometimes it's like I feel like I do. Tuck.
Hey, listen.
Go to sleep. That's a command. Seems like we're losing viewers, kind of, which not terrible, but it's just interesting because normally it's like it slowly like grows as time goes on, but I don't really know. Hey, Mama Wolf, what's up? I dropped the pizza onto the gravel, left my car, and decided I'd have a better chance of survival by running down the driveway and lifting myself over the gates. They were the wooden type, which shit. They were the wooden type, which had no decorative spears atop them, luckily, but all the while I could hear his feet crunching onto the gravel behind me. I didn't look back and managed to pull myself up and over the gates and hurling myself onto the pavements beneath me. The adrenaline in my system still had me running for what seemed like hours, but perhaps 10 minutes at most, until I was a good few streets away and I decided to call the police. Police met me at the park I was hiding at. One officer stayed with me and the other proceeded to the property along with another patrol car. At first I got the distinct impression that they didn't believe me or thought I was up to something, but after my uncle arrived to pick me up and vouch for me being sent there to deliver the... Sorry. I didn't really understand that sentence. Vouch for me being sent there to deliver pizza. The PC in question back down. Okay. At first I got the distinct impression that they didn't believe me or thought I was up to something, but after my uncle arrived to pick me up and vouched for me being sent there to deliver pizza, the PC in question backed down. Upon their arrival at the property, they found nothing. Just a car with slashed tires and broken windows alongside... Jesus. Joel, are you keeping yourself anonymous online, or do you have a personal account like Instagram or anything, or Let's Read on? So I only really have a like a business Let's Read Instagram page. I don't really have a personal account. I was never, on board with that whole process, I guess, or like, and I don't really Let's Read is like it's like a brand, but it's also me. You know what I mean? But I just never. And because like being a face reveal is not really like a important part of my process or whatever, I don't really have like a personal Instagram where you can go stare at me in a thong or anything like that, Joel, can you do a Northern Irish accent? Well, I'm going to finish the story up and then I will listen to a Northern Irish accent and see if I can emulate it. Okay. Upon their arrival at the property, they found nothing. Just my car with slashed tires and broken windows alongside feces being smeared across part of the kitchen. There was food strewn about the place and also a needle found in one of the bathrooms, but no sign of the man who threatened me. Michael and his family at the time were visiting family in Australia, I later found out. I never did go back for another shift at the pizza place, and although I understand this may have not been the most crazy or horrifying encounter on this subreddit, it's something that's always stuck with me. Wealth and apparent financial security is just completely illusory. People are people, and there are some sick and tormented people out there who will always find a way to carry out their twisted actions, And if anything, I have had more encounters with crazy people since moving away from my council estate roots and into suburbia. He said he had more encounters with crazy people since moving away from... Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Ooh, and OnlyFans, yeah. I was contemplating, like, doing some sort of additional content on my Patreon, as far as, like, you know, right now it's like $1 for early access to this audio once I edit it together. And then, you know, we could do like $5 for like an additional creepypasta a month, you know, and then $10 for maybe some like more raunchy content, if you catch my drift. But I'm just kind of trying to figure that out right now, whether that's something that people will have interest in. I've asked that probably the past couple of streams, but yeah, still kind of like on the fence, because I don't know how fast I want to become a lady of the night, if you catch my drift. The ice cream man. How do I know these are true? Well, every one of these I've lived. I actually was that guy that slashed his tires and smeared feces everywhere, so I can verify that I was the guy with the knife at the pizza house. So at least we know that one's true, based on my account. Hey, Jonas, Debun. Have a good night. Face reveals are overrated. Yeah, I mean, what if you saw me and you're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? What's going on with that guy's face and the reveal? All the face and the reveal. Oh my god. All right, what's this Northern Irish accent?
What do Sean Bean, Brad Pitt, Richard Gere, and Tommy Lee Jones have in common? That's right, they're all world-famous actors who struggle to do a Northern Irish accent on screen. So in this lesson, we'll look at some of the features of the Northern Irish accent that they couldn't master. Hey, I'm Alistair, and welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, and you want to learn English on the go, remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Make sure you watch until the end, and let me know in the comments if you do better than these famous actors trying the Northern Irish accent. Our first feature is the most important, the diphthong, ow. Diphthongs have two vowel sounds.
Dude, this guy sucks. I don't care. I just want to hear, like, someone actually... I don't need guidance, accents, Northern Irish versus RP. I just want to hear literally someone say it.
Hello and welcome to English Like a Native. My name is Anna, and today we're discovering a new...
Jesus, is there literally not just like a 30-second video? Like, everybody just wastes your life. I wonder if how many people click my videos and are like, oh my god, get to the point, you literal knobhead. You freaking knob. Anyways, there's no good videos. They're just like, I just want to hear it. One British, 17 accents. Northern Irish, Belfast.
Are you?
Alright, let me just skip. Holy crap.
I'm British, depending on how they have requested this video.
Well, it took...
There are a wide variety.
Dude,
very quick.
2 minutes just to get
this
to...
simply means yes.
Get to some words. Just speak some words, bro.
A rude or implied word for the face or mouth. Shut your beak. Look at the ugly...
Whatever. I'm done caring about that. It's not a big deal. It's just like... Why can no one ever make like an efficient video that just gets the goddamn point? Got down now. Got down now. That's how they say get down now. Got down now. Sounds like German. Got down now. Get down now. I'd have to be around them, you know, kind of like how, what's his name? Remember Arnold from Hey Arnold? He was around his grandpa, and then he could do like a perfect grandpa impression to like play hooky. My Mexican accent. I don't know. I'd have to be around the people, whether they're Northern Irish or Mexican, to like kind of pick up on their mannerisms, because I am pretty good at, like, after hearing people for a while, kind of like emulating their mannerisms or whatever with the nuances of their voice and stuff. Got done now. Okay, Jack, just listen to Jack say, top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you, laddies. I definitely feel like he's kind of lost his accent as he's become more normied. But does he still live in Hoyerland. Hey Arnold used to make you uneasy? I wonder why. I don't know why I loved Hey Arnold, because I felt like it was one of the shows that like kind of did the opposite of that, because I always felt like the world, the art, and the characters were very fleshed out, whereas something like Courage the Cowardly Dog like just had like a house in the middle of nowhere with limited characters and kind of like a really not grounded reality to it. Same with like Ed, Edd and Eddy, like you just kind of felt Amy Lee, you cheeky chop. Please try Scottish accent. I can't. I literally can't. I'll just embarrass myself, and I know you know people would consider this channel to be like a voice acting type thing, but I have not, most of those accents I have not practiced. My roommate's actually really good with accents. He does like whole videos as characters, and they're hilarious. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. What about the bottom of the morning? Does anyone think about that? I just like look at my phone. Ah, never mind. Doesn't matter. The only Scottish you need to know is oh I. Alright. It is interesting, like just in the span of like those islands over there, you know, you guys have such a wide variety of accents. I mean, I guess it, like we had talked about before on here, it's a similar scenario with what's it called? You know, here in the Americas, it's just like there's a lot of variety even on the, you know, northeast in the accents, and then you as you're going down south, it starts to change as well, and as you go towards the Midwest, and as you get closer to Tejas and, you know, California and Canada, you know, it is interesting. Okay, second to last story here. Joe Rogan talked about coming to North Ireland and not understanding a word. That's funny. He's like, dude, I didn't get it at all. Yeah, even like PA accent, like where I'm from, specific like accents in Pittsburgh, accents in Central PA, accents in Northern, you know, it all varies. It's interesting. And it's weird to think like someone had to have that type of like speaking pattern for everyone to kind of like pick it up. You know what I mean? Like it's so odd. Like they all like descended from the same folk. One or 2 months ago, my girlfriend and I went out to our favorite bar. The drive is a tad longer than an hour to... What? I think the worst mistakes to me that frustrate me the most are the ones where it's like my voice just cracking out of nowhere. And it's just like, why? Why? Why am I going through puberty again? Everything's getting bigger. Oh, I'm getting taller and hairier. Just kidding. Okay. The drive is a tad longer than an hour to our place from the bar, primarily on barren. The drive is a tad longer than an hour to our place from the bar, primarily on barren interstate after the first 15 minutes, save for a few rural exits and one rest stop a little over halfway home. My girlfriend was sober that night and was driving. I had had a bit to drink and was feeling warm and tipsy. I asked my girlfriend to make a quick stop at the rest area so I could pee. This is a normal stop for us to make if one of us had been drinking, since the rest area has its own direct exit and entrance, so it's faster than taking an actual exit into town for a gas station. The rest area has only one road in it and one out, and is surrounded by trees to the point that you can't see the facility from the freeway. It is wooded walking trails. By the time I hopped out of the car at the rest stop, it was sometime around 3 a.m. As mentioned, this is a fairly regular stop, and until the day, the only other person I had seen in that rest stop around that time of night was the guy who maintains it. I walk in, The vending area is empty and completely silent. I make my way over to the men's room and push it open to be immediately startled by this old man, maybe mid-60s or so, standing immediately to the left of the door inside. Fuck. Your internet just died. Fuck, sorry, bro. Where was I? Oh, sorry. Yeah, the vending area. Okay, I see. My bad. I walk in. The vending area is empty and completely silent. I make my way over to the men's room and push it open to be immediately startled by this old man, maybe mid-60s or so, standing immediately to the left of the door inside the bathroom. He was wearing what I can only describe as an Inspector Gadget coat and slacks. I noticed he had a cell phone in his hand when I opened the door, but it was hanging down at his side and the screen was not lit up. He stares at me and I stare back for a split second. Then I get over it and pass him to head over to the urinals. I take the urinal closest to the sinks when I notice he made no indication he was going to walk out, because there is basically a wall of mirrors stretched out far enough that I can watch him in the mirror while I'm at the urinal. I unzip and keep my eyes on the mirror, but make sure not to turn my head at all. By the time I look in the mirror, his phone is up in his hand and on as if he were texting, but he seems to be staring at me rather than the phone. Either way, he definitely was not looking at his phone. A very long 60 seconds pass and I absolutely cannot pee with this silent guy staring at me from the back. Could not take a piss. Fucking hell, this guy's giving me a look-see. Streams are all about interaction. It's the best part. I know, yeah. I'm glad that I can interact with you guys during the streams. I know some stream. It's weird, yeah, I've told you guys before, but been in streams with like way smaller amount of people and way less chat going on. And the streamer, I see him staring at the chat, and then he just ignores it. And it's like, what? Bro. Notice me, senpai. Senpai. Senpai, please notice me. A very long 60 seconds pass, and I absolutely cannot go with this silent guy staring at my back from the door. Then in the mirror, I notice him take a small step forward. Fuck, dude, what's wrong with me? Then in the mirror, I notice him take a small, slow step forward. I tell myself I'm just tipsy and imagining it, to just get on with my pee and get out. And then... Dude, I've made so many mistakes here. Pretty... no. Pradeep just like is getting in his mode of like rubbing into everything, and I know it's just gonna like pick up on the mic. I tell myself I'm just tipsy and imagining it, to just get on with my business and get out. Then he takes a more obvious step forward, and I put it in my pants while I speed. Alright, hold on a second. Let me just let him out real quick. He just gets in these like rhythms, and it's so annoying because he can't speak. He speaks Portuguese, like I said, and I have no idea how to talk to him. Alright, so this guy was taking a piss or some shit. Then he takes a more... okay. A very long 60 seconds pass, and I absolutely cannot go with this silent guy staring at my back from the door. Then in the mirror, I notice him take a small, slow step forward. I tell myself I'm just tipsy and imagining it, to just get on with my business and get out. Then he takes a more obvious step forward, and I just put it in my pants while I speedwalk to the back handicap stall and lock the door. I went to the back where my feet weren't visible and texted my girlfriend about the creepy guy inside with me. I sit and wait to hear the door open, signaling him leaving, but it still doesn't. After possibly the longest 8 minutes of my life, I hear the door open and close. I wait another 2 minutes and finally go. I crack the stall door first. Luckily the bathroom isn't huge and I had almost complete visibility of the room from the stall I picked. I saw no signs of anyone else, so I walked out, washed my hands, and beelined it back to the parking lot. I finally make it back to the car and ask my girlfriend what car the old guy got into. She turns to me, wide-eyed, and says, "He didn't get into one. He just walked across the parking lot and went into the tree line." With the rest stop being the only thing on the very short on-off ramps and the other closest civilization being 5 miles by interstate, I don't know where this guy was going. Later, I realized... I'm making an OnlyFans piss vid. Oh my god. It's coming soon. You got a little bit of a taste tonight. Fuck. Later I realized that although the rest area main room is small, there is a second entrance and exit on the side that goes to a patio backing up to the woods. I forget about it because I never use it, but if that guy had somehow managed to get a jump on me, he could have easily pulled me out of that door, and my girlfriend wouldn't even fucking shit. But if that guy had somehow managed to get a jump on me, he easily could have pulled me out of that door, and my girlfriend wouldn't have even seen it. I don't know if that was his plan and I ruined it when I made my dash for the stall, but regardless... Actually, I'll just end on the last part. But if that guy had somehow managed to get a jump on me, he could have easily pulled me out of that door, and my girlfriend wouldn't have even seen it. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, that was the last story? Oh, no. Oh no, this is the last story. My bad. I must have been clicking through and then got distracted. And this one's about ice cream. Ice cream. Who's ready for some stories about ice cream? I've got lots of ice cream in my fridge. Do you guys want to hear about my ice cream? Because I've got a whole scary story about ice cream. What's Darren saying? A friend of mine got a girl to squat and pee on a glass coffee table while he laid underneath watching up close. Oh. What the fuck? Okay, nice, dude. C'est la vie, dude. C'est la vie. Ice cream. Ice cream. Back in my high school years, I'd often meet with a few friends at a local Dunkin' Donuts, which was conveniently near a railway we'd all take to our... Back in my high school years, I'd often meet with a few friends at a local Dunkin' Donuts, which was conveniently near a railway we'd take to our dealer's house. My closest friend at the time, Katie, and I usually met up earlier than everyone else just to hang out, order our extra large drinks and hash browns, and attempt at some "hey mister" shenanigans to score some tall boys from anyone willing to buy us a beer. I'd consider us to be pretty naive and overly nice girls, which never proved to be an issue to either of us until we were nice to the wrong person. Now for a little background on my hometown. I grew up in the forgotten borough of NYC, Staten Island. For anybody here who's stare into static, he tweeted at me. Nice, I'll have to check her out. I'll have to check out that tweet, bro. Denise, hoy, with the 5s.
Listen.
Hey, I'm listening. I have vicious insomnia, and your videos are the only ones that help. The audio is well balanced and your voice is steady. I really appreciate. That's awesome. That is really awesome. Sometimes I don't even realize, like, because so many people seem to really get a benefit from the sleep, and I'm very thankful that that is something that can be achieved by my videos and audio. Wait, what's Mackenzie? What is God, men are weird? What were you saying before that? Wait, what? I don't really know what you're referring to, sorry. You probably are exactly what I just said. I read up the thing and I couldn't read what you were saying that I am, so my bad, dude. My bad, dude. For those who are unaware, there was, and kind of still is, a pretty horrendous opioid epidemic. Jesus. For those who are unaware, there was, and kind of still is, a pretty horrendous opioid epidemic, so seeing zombie-like civilians strolling the streets is fairly common. Because of this, I became pretty good at spotting out someone struggling with heroin and things of that sort. Anyways, on this one day, Katie and I met up at Dunkin' and sat at our usual booth. We were in the midst of messing around with our phones and being our overly giggly selves when I noticed out of the corner of my eye someone suddenly stop outside of the glass door. Still smiling, I glanced over to see if it was maybe one of our friends, and ended up making direct eye contact with a basic Staten Island-looking dude. I looked away unbothered and carried on. Just another customer anyways. After the guy got his coffee, he sat directly at the table across from us both. Oops. Sorry. I read that wrong and then my nose got itchy. Does anyone here's nose ever get itchy? Don't call you dude. I call everyone dude, my dude. Dylan, I got mint chocolate chip for what kind of ice cream? Nice, dude. Yeah, what kind of ice creams y'all into? After the guy got his coffee, he sat directly at the table across from our booth. I chose to ignore the fact that he sat weirdly close and resisted eye contact, since that already awkwardly happened. But I guess the motion caught Katie's attention as she looked over her shoulder at the man settling in. She looked back at me, made a face that said, okay, and we just giggled and tried to move on. Every now and then I glanced in his direction, mainly just because I like to be observant of my surroundings, but also because I kept seeing him scratch at his nose, neck, and face in my peripheral vision, and noticed he was bleeding from various little cuts on his body. This was a dead giveaway he was doing some sort of cookie dough. Cookie dough is so good. Holy shit. Honestly, the mix of like different stuff, but like with cookie dough, freaking cream my pants, dog. This was a dead giveaway. He was doing some form of opiate, as they tend to get very itchy and scratch until they break skin. A few minutes later, the man asked if one of us had a charger he could borrow. I kindly denied, and Katie only had an iPhone charger while the man clearly had an Android phone. This slight exchange was enough for the man to feel invited, and he continued to make comments for quite some time. Being that this was about 4 years ago, I don't remember the entire conversation, but I do remember him often asking general questions like if we live around here, what we do in our free time, and sort of creepy things of that sort. I was pretty vague yet polite in my responses, but Katie was also a bit more enthusiastic in her words, making it pretty easy for the guy to reciprocate and basically join our conversation altogether. In Katie's innocent stupidity, the guy basically found out some of the main train stops we'd get off at to hang in these areas. He also found out we would indulge in the devil's lettuce, which only made this guy feel even more inclined. At some point, he mentioned how his ex-girlfriend got him into some trouble, got him into heroin, which he used to sell, served jail time for it, and pretty recently got out. He also mentioned how he'd been an ice cream truck driver ever since his release, and told us that he's always driving around the train stops Katie mentioned earlier. He also repeatedly offered to give us rides around in his truck someday with free ice cream as the bribe. Again, we were pretty naive and overly nice girls, Katie more so than I, so one thing led to another, and eventually this guy was asking for Katie's social media, which she happily obliged. She's always been really dedicated to expanding her follower account. Jesus. Do anything for that ice cream. Anything for the cream. You're slurping a caramel frappe, and I'm McLovin' it. Hell yeah, brother. Brittany says, I do non-dairy ice cream, but before I switched, my favorite was lemon ice cream, not sorbet. So good. Now I just randomly pick whatever looks good that day in non-dairy. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Avoiding dairy definitely helps your digestion quite a bit, and I recently started, or I got a bunch of these like mini pints of, I don't even know what you want to call them, of keto. It's like a keto ice cream. It's called Rebel or something like that. But it's okay. It kind of like almost leaves a bit of like a film on your mouth, you know what I mean? And the way that it like breaks apart when you're digging into it is sort of almost like crumpled dirt. So, Aiden, I can't say I ever have, man. Thank you, Gothic. Yeah, send your stories into that Reddit, reddit.com/r/Let's Read Official if you got a story. Tell me about your ice cream. Your ice cream. Again, we were pretty naive and overly nice girls, Katie more so than I. So one thing led to another, and eventually this guy was asking for Katie's social media, which she happily obliged to. She's always been really dedicated to expanding her follower count. Throughout this exchange, I was mostly just nodding, smiling, laughing here and there, so my remaining silent during the social media exchange went unnoticed. Oops, silence. So my remaining silent during the social media exchange went unnoticed. However, once the guy started following Katie on Instagram, he quickly found mine through a tagged picture on her page. I wasn't private at the time, so he fuck. However, once the guy started following Katie on Instagram, he quickly found mine through a tagged picture on her page. I wasn't private at the time, so he immediately started liking and commenting on nearly every one of my pictures. The comments were extremely cringy, consisting of heart eyes and water squirt emojis and things like, ooh, mama. Finally, after the longest half hour ever, I urged we should really be catching our train. Fortunately, the man wasn't persistent after that, and we were on our way with no problem. After some verbal recap of what just happened, I convinced Katie to block him, and I did the same, and we brushed it off with that. I honestly forgot about the strange man's interaction until about a week later. I was hanging out with some friends at a park near my high school when munchies made me crave Ralph's Ice. Ralph's Ice. They're gonna unblock this guy to get some free ice cream. Ooh, mama. I don't even know what everybody's. I guess we're talking about ice cream, or I don't know what's going on. But thanks for being here, guys. You guys kick butt. I was hanging out with some friends at a park near my high school when munchies made me crave Ralph's Ice, which was just up the block. I ventured off with one other friend, and another made it to the store. I ventured off with one other friend and also made it to the store before the sound of an ice cream truck approached from behind us. Completely lost in conversation, my attention was only caught by the high-pitched screeching of the truck brakes and a somewhat familiar voice. Of course, it was him. He shouted out to me, but with Ralph's only a... Of course, it was him. He shouted... Fuck, sorry, that sounded so odd. Of course, it was him. He shouted out to me, but with Ralph's ice only a couple of feet in front of us, I ignored him and rushed in with my friend. The guy didn't stick around, being that he was blocking the whole lane on a narrow two-way road, but we still called our friend at the park to come pick us up in his car. For the next 2 weeks, there were about 4 times this man tried to pick me up in his ice cream truck. At this point, making me pretty paranoid I was potentially being stalked. The last time it happened, he was parked directly outside one of the train stops, almost as if though he was waiting for me. He again called out to me asking why I blocked him, and saying he just wants to be friends. At this point, I had enough and told him to just leave me alone. My dad, a lieutenant, which was a lie. My dad's a lieutenant. My dad's the president of Ice Cream Town. At this point, I had enough and told him to just leave me alone. My dad's a lieutenant, which was a lie, but slipped out in my defense. I walked away before he could respond and into the diner I was meeting my friends at that night. I saw his truck drive away in the window and never had an interaction with the ice cream man again. And anytime I hear the sound of an ice cream truck, it's haunted me ever since. Ice cream. All right, my friends. I hope everyone's had a good night tonight. I know that I have, as always, chilling with y'all. I love chilling with y'all, but we're gonna have to call it a night. As I read my outro, I want you guys to think of something super funny and silly goosey that you will hear in the story or hear at the end of the video and be like, oh my god, I was at that stream, dude. That infamous stream that talked about ice cream. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r.letsreadofficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And then we'll say something funny there. Hey, oh my goodness, a big $20 donation on the way out from Jacqueline Vrooman. Says, I ran out of hard drugs, my pimp is yelling at me, and I'm going on strike for hazard pay in more ways than one. I'm missing the stream because I'm at work, but my pimp ain't taking all my money. That's good. Yeah, we gotta slap that. Sometimes you gotta slap your pimp back once in a while. That's what I always say. That's what I did to mine. But thank you so much, Jacqueline, for the 20. I really appreciate it. And Bess M with the deuce says, how are you, Joel? How's everything over at your town? It's good. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're just getting here or not, but we're kind of getting to actually the very end of the stream here. We've been going for almost 3 hours, which, guys, thanks for sticking through if you've been here since the beginning or whether you're just showing up. I can guarantee you this video will be out tomorrow on the normal schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be out first on Patreon. Will I be on Discord? You know, I might actually come on Discord and do a little editing and chit-chatting. We shall see here. Probably go eat some ice cream, kind of in the mood. Still had some like coffee bean type left that was probably the grossest flavor, but I'm like, well, it is in the fridge, so I might as well fucking eat it. And remember, don't scream at ice cream. Yeah. Thanks so much, friends. And fuck. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, don't scream for ice cream. Anthony Payne with the $2 says, mint ice cream is the devil's work. The devil. I kind of agree there. I'm not a big fan of like mint. Like I like mint as a refreshing gum or something of that variety. Like even like a hookah, like all my hookahs got to have mint. But in ice cream, it just I feel like it kind of it makes me feel like I'm tasting a sort of synthetic flavor within the sort of creamy goodness that usually goes along with that. But guys, I love you. You guys are awesome. Always make this fun. Amazingly hilarious interactions at all times. Stay chill. As I said, everything will be out tomorrow. We haven't even reached midnight yet, so you still got some time to maybe even get to bed at a normal hour. Wink, wink. So, adios. Be well until we meet again. And most likely, like I said, next stream will probably be like Saturday or Sunday, one of those days. Well, we shall see. But yeah, follow me on Insta and Twitter. Instagram is letsread.official and Twitter is letsreadcreepy to be kept up to date. If there's anything you ever need to know about, anything, just go to the description of my channel, my videos of this video, and then you can check out the old streams on the streams playlist that I'll post this to. It'll just probably be a little while, but good night, loves ya, peace from the Reese's Pieces town. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, see ya.